though.
We're shaking it to wake it up.
Okay.
We don't want to put this drink to sleep.
Yeah.
So we really want to get there and shake it.
Okay.
So a lot of people will ask me, how long should I shake for? See the tin, how we got some condensation?
Yeah.
Is it getting cold in your hands?
Yes.
It's probably ready, but let's shake it a couple more times.
Okay. Shake it like I mean it.
I'll show you how I do it if I'm at work and I've got 3 or 4 drinks on the go. I will shake and stir at the same time.
See, this is the professional.
Only because they pay me.
Now for a little orange garnish.
So we got the daiquiri, bright, refreshing, great summer drink, but I'll drink it in the winter too. Let's start there.
We don't discriminate.
Let's see if you like it. Let's see if I did a good job.
Cheers. Ooh, that is so refreshing.
A lot different than
Oh
you
my
thought
gosh.
of when I said the word daiquiri earlier, right?
Very much different, but it's not bitter. It's got that little bit of a sour taste, but it's so refreshing. It goes down so easy. And I know how much rum is in there. I can barely taste the rum. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, this is a crushable drink.
Yeah.
This can get you in trouble if you're not paying attention.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to the old fashioned.
All right. Little nervous about this one, but we try new things on this channel.
Right, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm excited to see if you love it.
It's not something I would order just because I'm not a whiskey person, but it is very good.
Right.
The cocktail itself, how all of the ingredients came together, it's really good.
When it comes to these cocktails, if you have the technique, they're very accessible to make for yourself at home with very simple ingredients. This has got to be one of the best spots in town to watch the sunset, and not to mention fireworks on holidays.
Once that sun goes behind the mountain, we have the best views. We got the silhouette of the mountains, the lights of the city start coming up. I think it's the best place in town for it.
While of course the drinks, views, and atmosphere of the Legacy Club are all first class, their number one focus is hospitality.
You can build a fancy bar and bring up all the expensive spirits that you want. But if you don't have a great team behind you, that's going to reflect to the guest. So between our hostesses, our servers, and our bar team, I have some of the best bartenders in the city. Whenever you come up here, you might have a favorite bartender, but any day of the week, you're going to get great hospitality and great service.
That's all the time we have. Join us here next time on Down for Vegas for more things to do, Vegas history, and behind the scenes looks at the city of Las Vegas. All of these videos and so much more can be found at lasvegasnevada.gov/connect, where you can watch, stream, and read everything you need to know about the city of Las Vegas. And as I say on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. We'd never make a separate dinner. And never do that. We'd never let them sleep in our room. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
Okay, well, I'm not at my desk right now. As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
You're watching City of Las Vegas TV, your community connection.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We are ready to begin. This Planning Commission meeting is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded and can be viewed live on City of Las Vegas TV on Cox Cable Channel 2. You can also watch the meeting live online and access other city content by visiting lasvegasnevada.gov/connect. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on City of Las Vegas TV the Saturday after the meeting at 10 a.m., Monday at midnight, and the following Tuesday at 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chair Taylor.
Present.
Vice Chair Kasama. Excused. Commissioner Schlattman.
Present.
Commissioner Rogan. Excused. Commissioner Walsh.
Present.
Commissioner DeSalvio.
Present.
Commissioner Mumford.
Present.
Thank you, Chair. You have a quorum.
Thank you. I call to your attention the information printed in your agenda concerning our actions and the appeal and review process if appropriate. Please read this carefully, and if you have any questions, staff is available. Also, the second page of the agenda contains our rules of conduct. We appreciate your adhering to these rules so we can have a smooth meeting. Thank you. Public comment under item number 4. During this portion of the agenda, public comment must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made under this item for specific action items will be cross-referenced to those items. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Okay, yeah, if you're going to speak, please come down so that we can keep moving. And please state your name and spell it for the record and give us your address.
My name is Michael Boucher. I'm a resident of Ward 3, and I've come to give a comment about project number 25-0176.
Okay.
Well, here today I speak in strong opposition to the proposed development of the corner of Harris Avenue and Bruce Street. Shall I continue?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
This proposed development makes no sense to the existing lot size and includes significant deviations from the city's existing zoning and development standards. Each of the following items raises serious concerns about the suitability and impact of this project on the surrounding neighborhood. First, reducing the required setback from 111 feet to 75 feet puts this large development far too close to existing homes. Setbacks exist to provide privacy due to noise and preserve the integrity of nearby homes, allowing the variances set troubling precedent and could open the door for further encroachment in established residential areas. Second, they're proposing 242 parking spaces when 340 are required. A shortfall of nearly 100 spaces will lead likely to parking overflow into neighboring streets, causing congestion, safety issues, and frustration for nearby residents. Parking shortages are already abundant in the area and is a well-known catalyst for neighborhood conflicts, which, as a resident of this neighborhood, I would prefer to avoid. This project dramatically underestimates the actual demand it will generate. Third, the site is zoned C1, which is meant for a limited commercial use, not a dense 3-story, 204-unit apartment complex. If we start bending zoning rules this far, we risk of losing the balance and the purpose behind our city's planning process. They're asking to waive key design standards like perimeter landscape buffers and building orientation. Those rules exist for a reason, to ensure developments fit in the area, provide green space, and don't feel like they're being forced into an ill-fitted site. Waiving these standards suggests a project that is being rushed or squeezed into a space that simply cannot accommodate it properly. The lot size in question for this project is too small. 4.5 acres to house over 200 families is absurd. If you take the block of Bruce Street to Washington Avenue, to Constantine Avenue, to Harris Avenue, you have less than 200 families living within that parameter and more than 100 acres of land in use. Also, the area lacks required infrastructure to support such a complex and the amount of people living there. Has there been a traffic impact study? I know currently when there is an accident heading north towards Bruce and Maryland Parkway, which happens occasionally, the traffic backs up all the way to Bonanza from Washington. There's an elementary school that's just a block away, and Harris Avenue becomes congested every school day, morning and afternoon. Who will pay for the upgrade to the surrounding streets and utilities required for such a project? Where will 200 families go for recreation? There are no parks or recreation facilities nearby. The project is already too large for the space they're requesting to build in. If code requires the developer to have 100 more parking spaces than they are willing to provide, where will people living there be parking then? If this complex is at an 80% occupancy, there will be at least 50 people looking for parking outside the facility. Therefore, I must object to this project and suggest the developer downsize the project to better fit the surrounding neighborhood and serve our community a bit better. Growth is good, but this project is too big and the growth is way too fast on a property that's too small. That's it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sure.
Anybody else wishing to be heard under this item? Folks, if you want to speak under public comment for number 4, we would request you come on down now so we know how many people we have. If you're just grabbing that. Okay, looks like we have nobody else for public comment, so I'll go ahead and close number 4, and we will move on to, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
We just had a couple questions. Do we wait to speak on a certain line item after?
You can.
We do, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We weren't sure if we need to talk now or later, so.
No, you
we'll
don't
wait.
need to talk now. You can wait till the item is presented.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry, sir. Can you please come back down and give us your name for the record? Thank you so much.
My name is Matt Canepa.
And spell it?
Matt, M-A-T-T, Canepa, C-A-N-E-P-A.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Canepa. Okay, so anybody else for public comment under this item? Seeing none, I will now close public comment, and we will move on to number 5. This is the action to approve final minutes of the Planning Commission from May 13th. May we have a motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of May 13th, 2025?
Yes, Chairwoman, I move to approve the minutes of May 13th Planning Commission hearing.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Commissioner Munford? Is it stuck? It's okay, you can cast it verbally. Oh, great, thanks. Okay, please post. And that motion carries. And let's move on to housekeeping items. Are there any items that commissioners, staff, applicants, or members of the public would like to pull forward for action? Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioner Stephanie Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. Here on behalf of the applicant on item number 13. We sent a letter in, but it was late, asking to obey this item to the July 8th Planning Commission meeting. The applicant is evaluating, there's a CIP project, and they're just evaluating how that affects the development timeline. So we would greatly appreciate an additional month, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Gronauer. Are there any other housekeeping items?
Madam Chair, Fred Solis for the record. Staff has some housekeeping items. The applicant has requested to obey items 11 and 12 to the August 12th Planning Commission meeting. The applicant has requested to obey items 14 and 16 to the July 8th Planning Commission meeting. The staff has requested to obey item 31 to the July 8th Planning Commission meeting. There is a minor agenda error on the children applications for item 31. So for clarification on the abeyance, the item should read 31A and 31B. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, may I please have a motion on these housekeeping items?
Yes, Chairwoman, through you, I would move to hold items number 13, 14, and 16 in abeyance to the July 8th Planning Commission hearing, and items number 11 and 12 to the August 12th Planning Commission hearing, and then also on items 31A and B to hold those in abeyance until the July 8th Planning Commission hearing.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Thank you. Please post. And that motion carries. Okay. Let's move on to our consent items. These are considered routine by the Planning Commission and may be enacted by one motion. However, any item may be discussed if a commission member or applicant so desires. Can I get a motion on the consent items number 7 and number 8?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda items on which are 7 and 8.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. That motion carries.
And Madam Chair, those items are final action unless appealed to the clerk in 7 days.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our one motion, one vote item. The following are items that may be considered in one motion, one vote. They are considered routine, non-public, and public hearing items with staff recommendation of approval. All public hearings and non-public hearings will be opened at one time. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or a member of the Planning Commission not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this part of the agenda. So item number 9, 25-0101, SNC1, applicant, University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, owner, County of Clark, UMC et al., for possible action on a land use entitlement project request from Willow Street to Eye Care Way, extending south of Wellness Way, approximately 300 feet, Ward 1, Knutson. And then item 10, 25-0161, SUP1, applicant, AI California LLC, owner 99 Cents at Decatur LLC, for possible action on a land use entitlement project for a proposed 24,514 square foot alcohol off-premise beer wine use in conjunction with a grocery store, with a waiver to allow a 60-foot distance separation from a church/house of worship, where 400 feet is required at 1200 South Decatur Boulevard. And that is Ward 1, Knutson. Can I get a motion on the one motion, one vote items?
Yes.
Oh, public hearing. Sorry, thanks. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on our one motion, one vote items? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. And now may I have a motion on the one motion, one vote items?
Yes, Madam Chair, on the one motion, one vote items, number 9 and 10, I move to approve, subject to staff's conditions.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. We are not getting the motion up on the screen, so let's just do it verbally. Can we call the roll for the vote?
Commissioner DeSalvio?
Aye.
Commissioner Walsh?
Aye.
Commissioner Schlotman?
Aye.
Chair Taylor?
Aye.
Commissioner Mumford?
Aye.
Thank you, Chair. That motion has passed.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, those items 9 and 10 will move on to City Council on July 16th.
Thank you. Okay, now let's move on to our public hearing items, starting with number 11. Oh, nope, 11, 12, 13, 14, starting with number 15. So S24-0505, SDR1, applicant Peter Ozigbo, owner the Kenichi Trust et al., for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed outdoor storage development at 3702 Vegas Drive, Ward 5, Summers, Armstrong. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant here? And may I get the report from staff?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The site is currently Zone M Industrial, and the applicant has proposed an outdoor storage facility at this location. The site plan indicates the site will be utilized to store at least 2 vehicles and 4 self-contained metal shipping containers, although more items may be added in the future. The site complies with Title 1908 outdoor storage screening requirements, as well as perimeter landscape requirements. Staff recommends approval of the request. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, sir. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about your project.
Good evening. Winston Henderson Architect, 3320 North Buffalo Drive, on behalf of the applicant, and that's Henderson. And we have reviewed the conditions of approval and staff recommendations. We concur and ask for your approval.
Thank you very much, sir. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing, and I will turn it over to the commission, starting with Commissioner Munford for any questions.
No, I haven't heard of anybody complaining about the project or anything. I would move to approve this project per conditions.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Munford. Anybody else from the commission have any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner, if you would like to make your motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion for approval, subject to conditions, for item number 15, 24-0505-SDR1. I'd like to motion for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Please post. And that motion carries. And again, sir, you said you agree to all conditions.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice evening.
And that item, Madam Chair, will move on to City Council on July 16th.
Thank you. Next, we have item 17, 25-0146, SDR applicant owner MEQCR LLC for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed commercial development consisting of 5,450 square foot restaurant with a drive-through and an 8,630 square foot commercial building generally located on the south side of Craig Road, approximately 260 feet west of Jones Boulevard, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Staff recommends approval. May I have the staff report, please?
Josh Nolan for the record. Madam Chair, the subject site is Zone C2 General Commercial and is a portion of an existing commercial development that is appropriate for the drive-through restaurant and commercial development. Staff finds the proposed development compliant with the Title 19 requirements and compatible with the existing development in the surrounding area as a result. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the requested entitlements. Please note additional documents for support were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Good evening, Jennifer Lazovich, Lazovich, here tonight on behalf of the applicant for this matter. We appreciate staff recommending approval. It is for a retail building and a drive-through. Staff's recommending approval of the item, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing, and I will turn it back over to the commission, starting with Commissioner Munford.
I really don't have any questions or comments. I would move for approval for this and go along with the planning department's approval.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right, seeing none then, we'll go ahead and ask Commissioner Munford to officially make his motion.
I'd like to make a motion for approval subject to all conditions.
And you agree to all conditions, Ms. Lazovich?
Yes.
Great, thanks. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. And please post. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
And that will move on to City Council on July 16th.
Thank you very much. Item number 18, 25-0151 VAR1, applicant owner Jesus Diaz and Dora Diaz for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow a 10-foot rear yard setback where 15 feet is required for an existing home addition to a single-family dwelling at 4305 San Joaquin Avenue, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May I please have the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No evidence of unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented to warrant the requested variance, as the applicant is proposing additions that do not meet setback requirements. As such, the hardship is self-imposed, and therefore staff recommends denial of this variance request. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? All right, seeing that the applicant is not here, let's go ahead and trail it for the moment and give them an opportunity to attend the hearing. We'll go ahead and move on to 19, which is 25-0152, applicant owner FBLV District 2 LLC for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests at the southwest and southeast corner of Meade Avenue and Riggle Avenue, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project. 19A 25-0152 VAR1 to allow proposed wall signs, a proposed roof sign, and projecting sign that do not conform to Title 19 development standards, and 19B 25-0152 MSP1 for a major amendment to an approved master sign plan 24-0578-MSP1 for proposed additional roof, projecting, and wall signs and reorientation of signs for an approved commercial development. May I please have the staff report?
Madam Chair, Jonathan Boyles for the record. Staff notes that although the proposed signs will employ the same architectural elements and aesthetics as the facades approved for the buildings within the commercial development pursuant to existing entitlement approvals, no evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented to support the requested variance associated with the project. Consequently, staff cannot support the associated master sign plan. Therefore, staff recommends denial of all requested applications associated with this project. Please note additional documents for protest were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Again, if you can please state and spell your name for the record and give your address and tell us about your project.
Good evening again, Jennifer Lazovich, Lazovich, here today on behalf of Area 15. This is District 2, as we know it, which sits south of Sirius Avenue. It is an amendment to the master sign plan, and this shows the location, so in red. And so on this, it would be right in this area, with the 15 being along here. The building that you saw under construction with the portion of the plane sits right about here, and the master sign plan changes that we're discussing are going to go in that area. This, as they were going through, we have two tenants coming in here that we're very excited about. One is ARC, or ARC. It's an interstellar, intergalactical, immersive experience. And so that kind of shows you right here that this would be like a sign with some animation. Again, it's on the interior of the plaza area. Parts of it, the like tippy tops here, and I'll talk about another sign in a minute, might be visible to the 15, but again, it's all on-premise messaging. The other sign is going to be for your future tenant, Museum of Ice Cream. So right here, this purple part is the part, one of the parts of the application that we're asking for, and this shows you what that upper part will look like. Again, Museum of Ice cream is a very cool concept. They have some throughout the country. When you go in there, it's a good idea to bring your camera because you'll want to take lots of pictures of yourself in front of lots of cool things and have ice cream too. So that kind of gives you an idea of what both of those what both of those signs are, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on item 19? Okay, seeing none, I will pass it back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Schlattman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The application's fitting with the the overall project. I mean, everything that we've seen out there with the airplanes and big signs and things that are a little bit different, it's on little district right there. So I don't have any other questions, and for those reasons, I'll be supporting this.
Thank you. Anybody else on the commission with questions? Seeing none, go ahead and make your motion.
Yes, Madam Chair, on item number 19, 25-0152, and 19A, 25-0152 VAR1, and 19B, 25-0152 MSP1, I move to approve, subject to staff's conditions. And Ms. Lazovich, you agree to all staff's conditions?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. And please post. And that motion carries.
And that is final action unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lazovich. Okay, item number 20, 25-0153, applicant Ardura Group, Inc., owner Datura Properties LLC and West 20th Properties LLC, for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests located adjacent to the southwest corner of Clark County 215 and Gowan Road, Ward 4, Alan Polensky. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement projects. Item 20A, 25-0153 VAR1, to allow a 6-foot side yard setback where 10 feet is required. 20B, 25-0153 SDR1, for a major amendment to an approved site development plan review SDR 8833 for the proposed addition of a 2-story 14,503 square foot childcare development and storage building and parking lot reconfiguration with waivers of perimeter landscape buffer requirements and Lone Mountain West development standards to an existing commercial office development. And 20C, 25-0153 TMP1 West Gowan Office Park for a proposed 1-lot commercial subdivision. May I please have the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The proposed development does not meet setback, landscaping, and perimeter wall requirements. As such, a variance for setbacks and waivers for landscaping and perimeter wall requirements are requested. No evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance related to the physical characteristics of the property has been presented to warrant the requested variance, waivers, and exceptions. As such, the hardship is self-imposed, and therefore staff recommends denial of all requested entitlements. Please note additional documents for protest were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, sir. If you give us your name, spell it for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project. And I do want to note that this is Ward 4, and Commissioner Kasama is not here tonight. So I don't know if you are interested in waiting until the commissioner for this project is back next month, but that would be kind of my inclination, would be to let it move forward when she is back.
David Siegel, SEGAL, 2140 East Pebble Road. And I need to confer with the project owner before I answer that question.
Okay, perfect. I wasn't aware that the project owners were here.
The owner would like to proceed.
Okay.
To this evening. So the project, I have it in front of us, is a pre-K child development center, and it's the setback waivers that we're requesting and the landscape and the height that we're requesting are due to the configuration of the building, which is operational. It's operationally driven, but we feel that it's consistent with the remainder of the site, and the setback variance that we're requesting is up against the trail, so we don't feel that it impedes the use of the trail or the back area of the building as if it were associated with another development or something along those lines. And the way that in order to get the parking and also operational procedures to get both fire and circulation for parent pickup and drop off, make the parking lot configured such a way that we need to encroach in that smaller setback there.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else you want to tell us about the project right now?
One more thing is that we did bring the elevations with the signage for the project. We didn't include any signage because we didn't have it quite worked out when we made the application. But we've brought it this evening, and the signage is for the building is on the front, so not along the rear, along the 215. So we thought it important to show the commission where it's at.
Okay. Thank you.
And Commission, just for clarity, the sign permits are issued through building permit. So this is showing you a rendering of the example, but it would still need to go through the building permit process for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, this item has been noticed for public comment. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment and turn it back over to the commission for any questions. Anybody on the commission have questions on this project? Was that a hand up? Okay, sorry, Commissioner DeSalvio. I actually wanted to just talk to you really quickly about your landscape buffer waiver request. I was trying to get to the landscape plan. What exactly, is it just the width of the landscape buffer?
Yes, and I think it's along the back of the building too, if I'm correct, if staff can.
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you, that's correct. It's 0 feet on the east side and 7 feet or 10 required on the south side.
Okay. And, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, do you have landscape, you've got trees, you're not asking for any waiver on the landscaping itself, just the width is the waiver?
That's correct.
Okay, great. And then I'm going to ask you, because I don't have it up, for some reason it wasn't populating quickly in here for me, what size trees were you going to put in this project?
One moment. 24-inch box trees.
Would the owner be willing to put in 36-inch box trees so that we can continue to work on it?
One moment. Yes.
Okay.
We accept that condition.
Thank you very much. Can we add that in as a condition? 36-inch box trees?
Sure thing, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Those are my questions, so I'll see if anybody on this side.
Yes, Madam Chair, through you. On the east property line, you only own part or half of the site of what we're actually looking at right here. Is that correct?
We're looking at the full site, but this project will only be on the south half of the site there.
And do me a favor, and I don't see your north arrow here. Can you point at the east property line?
That's right along the 215. So where I'm running my finger would be the new property line that's being applied for in the tentative map. So this will be one owner, and then they will own this back parcel here, and there's obviously cross-access agreements as part of all of that.
And where's the trail that you were talking about?
So the 215 trail is right along the back here. So it's part of the Clark County Trail System, and it's along the 215.
Okay, and is that currently landscaped?
The trail is, I don't believe the trail is currently landscaped. I believe the trail is just asphalt, multi-use bikes and peds.
Okay, and are we seeking a waiver from the landscape on that portion?
Yes, on our portion adjacent to it. Yeah, we're seeking a waiver from the, and the reason for that is operational for the back of the building. The back of the building needs specific access widths to operate the back of the building for egress.
Okay. All right, no further questions.
Can I ask staff a question real quick on this? What would normally be required on that east side where they're asking for the waiver of the landscaping requirements?
Madam Chair, per the staff report here, it's 15 feet on that east side.
Okay.
Yeah, with 9 trees.
With how many trees?
9.
9.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If I may ask another question, what's your operational issue with putting trees on that side of the building?
It's fitting the trees into the where the sidewalk is along the back there. The tree was.
And what's the operational issue with putting trees in sidewalk wells?
It's the width that is necessary along the back of the building for the egress there.
The width along the back of the building for
Yeah, the width
egress.
of the walkway that's necessary back there. I think it's like 6 or 7 feet, and it's kind of right about where we're at with the fence. So if we have tree wells back there, then it necks down the width.
So is there a block wall all the way at the property line? Is that what you're saying? And then
There's a wrought iron gate, a wrought iron fence. And so below that would be a retaining wall, I think, of maximum 4 feet. And then on top of that would be the wrought iron, 6-foot wrought iron fence, and that's for safety.
And you're retaining the section from like towards the highway from your property. Your property is lower or your property is higher?
We're higher than the trail. So it's the trail, and then basically from 0, I think, to plus or minus 4 feet of retainment, and then the wrought iron gate.
So you have the trail, then the retaining wall right at the property line with your wrought iron fence on top.
That's
then
correct.
You have about 6 feet up to your building, and then that's where you're egressing the people from the building through that 6-foot
That's correct.
area.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And so sorry, I'm going to ask. Thank you, Commissioner. So when you're saying the egress, you're talking about like being able to walk along the back of the building or exit the building?
I believe operationally it's an exit from the building because it's a school and they need that rear exit for evacuating the building. And so there's certain requirements along that.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Do you want to make the motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Do you want me to add that condition?
The 36, yes, thank you.
Okay, sure. So we'll add a condition to 20B that all trees planted shall be a minimum of 36-inch box.
Okay, thank you. And you agree to that condition and all other conditions?
Yes.
Thank you.
With that going forward, I'd like to make a motion to approve 25-053 as written in the concessions. Are you good with the concessions meeting those requirements?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, it's A through C. Yes, and 20A, which is 25-153-VAR1. Item 20B, 25-0153-SDR1, and items 20C, 25-0153-TMP1. And the motion for approval with exception of that.
Thank you, Commissioner, for making that motion. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. And please post. And that motion carries.
And those items will move on to City Council on July 16.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 21, 25-0156 VAR1, applicant Rise Dispensary owner Cheetah Development Corporation for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow a proposed projecting sign and wall sign that does not conform to Title 19.08 development standards for projecting signs and wall signs at 2233 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May we please have the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented in that the applicant has created a self-imposed hardship by proposing wall and projecting signs that do not conform to Title 19 sign requirements. It has been determined that the applicant's request is preferential in nature, and staff recommends denial. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. If you can please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Good evening. My name is Karen Harper, C-A-R-Y-N. Harper, address 3900 West Dewey Drive. I am representing Rise Dispensary tonight. They have this location right here on Las Vegas Boulevard. The property fronts Las Vegas Boulevard just north of Sahara. And they are requesting a projecting sign with neon illumination over the sidewalk. With the property being on Las Vegas Boulevard, we feel that that's pretty typical for that area. Right up the street, less than a quarter mile, you also have the City of Las Vegas archway sign. So we feel that the sign fits within the neighborhood. It does have the neon illumination, which is required in this area, and a beautiful sign to increase viewing for tourists and whatnot. And any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. If there's any members of the public wishing to be heard on this matter, please come down to the podium. Good evening, sir. Please state and spell your name for the record and give us your address.
My name is Richard Truesdell, 1112 Westwood Drive. I represent also Chitec Development, the property owner. And I think one of the difficult things about this parcel that gets lost is this building covers the entire parcel. There are no other setbacks that were ever included in here. And with the way the design of the building was done in the 1954 when it was built, created a notch out on the north end of the building. So when you look at a 13,000 square foot building that has one sign facing Las Vegas Boulevard, the hardship is strictly in the design itself. With the setback for the notch to try and put this where it fits structurally, leaves the sign about half the distance being readable, and that can't be changed. The applicant or the tenant is going to spend in excess of about $4 million re-skinning this building totally. All of the frontage, and this should probably show it better, along Las Vegas Boulevard will be lighted flutes, for lack of a better description, that will cover existing windows and solid wall. The sign, there's a sign on there now, which I believe is a huge C for cookies. That's being removed. They're putting a ledge along the front to light downward onto the streetscape, and then the sign. So in trying to position this sign below the billboard that is on the adjacent parcel and not get totally hidden within the beautiful landscaping that the city and RTC put along Las Vegas Boulevard, it's been a challenge for the sign company and for the tenant and the property owner to come up with a sign that would have reasonable readability to the traffic, to there be an enhancement to the scenic byway with simulating signs, skeleton neon, etc. So it looks like we're asking for a large waiver and a variance, but we're actually dealing with the exceptional conditions that are being presented to us and trying to meet all the standards that everybody wants. But it wouldn't be realistic to take a 13,000-foot sign and have, if I read the number right, 34 feet of sign area. on that face. So we do ask your consideration. This is meant to be an enhancement to the scenic byway, not to diminish it in any way. And we just finished about $600,000 worth of repaving on this property, along with several $1 million worth of other upgrades that have been approved. There is a sign along the north face of the building. That sign is going to be repositioned elsewhere under a different application. So this will be the main and only sign, or main and primary sign for this structure, a business that has done a lot to improve that. There's an existing outcropping architectural design on the south end of the building that encroaches farther out than this sign will, and that is being removed as part of the renovation. So we're asking trade one for the other and take all the neon you can take from us, because they're willing to do that for you.
Thank you very much for that additional background. So since you weren't technically member of the public, since you represented the applicant, I'll ask again.
I was just finishing what she started very
Oh, yeah, no
eloquently.
problem at all. You stood up when I called for public comment, so anybody else from the public wishing to be heard on this item? Okay, so seeing none, I will close public comment. I will turn it back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Schlottman.
Yes, thank you, Chair. A disclosure before we start. This lady up here said her name was Karen Harper. I recognized the name as soon as you said it, and then I see the name on your shirt, Hartlier. I think you created and built signs for some of our clients in the past, but I don't have any open or ongoing business. But I did want to disclose that, and this is the first time I've ever seen you in person, so this is a treat. So, and Mr. Truesdale, good to see you. It's been a number of years, and one of the questions, I'm glad you did come up and talk, because I know this isn't an SDR or any of those items, but I was curious about the outside of the building, because right now it's just paint and looking like it needs a new fresh coat of paint, but I'm glad to see that you're actually going to be putting this new facade on it. So that's great. And the sign originally looked like it was going to extend over the street. It was shortened back. It's over the sidewalk. I don't have a problem with this. I think it's fitting. They're going to have to go to DDRC for compatibility with the neon or whatever. But for us, I'm fine with this, and I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner, anybody else have any questions?
Just one item. I'm on that commission, the DDR portion for the downtown signs. If you got any questions, you can ask me. I'll come over to the side. Okay?
Thank you, Commissioner Walsh. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no other comments from the dais, we'll ask Commissioner Schlottman to make his motion.
All right. Yes, Madam Chair, on item number 2125-0156, VAR1, move to approve subject to staff's conditions, and you'll agree to all staff's conditions if approved?
Thank you.
That's a yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Please post, and that motion carries.
And that item will go on to City Council on July 16th.
July 15th.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, the applicant for item number 18 has returned, if and when you want to come back to that item.
Oh, fantastic. Let's go back to 18. So let's return to item 18, which is, again, 25-0151 VAR1, applicant owner Jesus Diaz and Dora Diaz. Jesus and Dora, you guys want to come down for possible action? Are they back in, Mr. Floyd? Well, okay, let's go back to trailing 18, and we will go to 22. So 22-25-0157 VAR1, applicant owner Lori Holbert Zanini, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow an existing residential accessory structure shed and a patio cover that do not conform to Title 19.06 development standards for separation from the main building setbacks and height at 1417 Hillside Place, Ward 3 Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, no evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance related to the physical characteristics of the property has been presented to warrant the requested variance. As such, the hardship is self-imposed and therefore staff recommends denial of this variance request. Please note additional documents for protest and support were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is the applicant in here? Yeah, come on down. When you get down to the microphone, please state and spell your name for the record. Give us your address and tell us about the project.
Good evening. My name is Lori Holbert Zanini, Lorrihul, B as a boy, ERT, ZANINI. I reside at the location that is being dealt with today, which is 1417 Hillside Place. I wish to this be considered for approval because and there are a couple of different things, and I'd like to deal with them actually separately. The awning itself, which I purchased this house in 2011, and that awning was on the house when I purchased it. I believe from kind of looking at prior photos and prior documents that was probably built sometime between 1962 when the pool was installed and 1986 when the last of the work on that pool, I think they had gotten a permit to put in a gas line for a pool heater. And so I believe it was installed sometime during that period. You can see it on the assessor's map. The cover is right there. And I have a picture of it from Zillow from when I purchased the house. And I don't believe that the prior owner had put it up either. She purchased that house in 2005, and she did a kitchen remodel and left some pictures nicely. And you can actually see some of the poles in the pictures for the awning outside the window. So I don't think that she knew that it was not in compliance either. I believe the item on this that is not in compliance is that it is not 10 feet away from a corner side, and I have a corner lot. So I would like that to be accepted. It would create a hardship for me to have that removed. It's a very sturdy, definitely not new, but very sturdy awning that was obviously put up by a professional. So it would take a bit. It's the posts that support it, the concrete was actually poured around them. It's been there for quite some time. Also, it provides much needed shade in my yard. That backyard would be unbearable without some sort of shade in our climate. For the shed, that is a newer construction. One of my family members we have a new member of our household who lost her apartment. We needed somewhere desperately to be able to store items. When she constructed the shed, she thought she was acting in good faith. She was compliant with everything, but again, she didn't realize the corner side setback that was necessary at 15 feet. She only knew that it was supposed to be, I think, 5 feet away from the property line. There is actually nowhere else in the property to put that shed. There's a pool that takes up most of the backyard, and that is really the only place it can go, and we do need it very badly. And after the fact, it actually is providing another service for me, and that's giving me some privacy in my backyard from the 2-story elementary school across the street. Which makes it sometimes difficult to have recreation in my backyard when you have children yelling down at you. But that's why I would like to have this reconsidered.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will turn this back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Schlottman.
Yes, Chairwoman, through you, and disclosure, I own a property within 2 blocks of this location. I'm planning on building my personal residence on it. You probably know the lot. It's the 1.5-acre lot that's on the opposite side of the road. That's the big vacant lot that goes from Bracken out to Okie. And I was out there today looking at the lot next door to my property because somebody called. They just vacated and trashed it up, and a lot of the neighbors called me on that, and so we were. I was out taking a look at that.
I saw Lance had moved, yes.
Yes, and so I think, and then while I was there, I decided to go ahead and drive the neighborhood and see what was going on with this particular property, and actually, whenever I drove by it looking for it, I passed your property up and I went down probably about 4 blocks or 5 blocks, and then I pulled over on the side of the road and had to open my agenda to even figure out where your address was, because I looked at it on photos and everything, but I didn't see it as I was driving down the road. This is a little bit of a unique parcel and street, because the Bracken dives down, and most of the street, most of the parcels have, 4, 6, 8 foot, even 12-foot retaining walls, because they're trying to retain so much dirt just to be able to build on both sides. And this is kind of similar, where it has a high retaining wall, and there's a tremendous amount of oleanders going up and down the street. So you can't hardly see it unless if you stop and you look to the left right when you're adjacent to this parcel. So the little awning that you have in the backyard, nobody can see it. That's not an issue with me. The only thing I had a little bit of an issue with was the shed, but then seeing how much it was disguised by oleanders and everything else, I didn't have an issue with that. So for those reasons, I could get behind this particular item.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other members of the commission wishing to ask questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner Schlottman, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, on item number 22, 25-0157 VAR1, move to approve subject to staff's conditions, and you agree to all staff's conditions?
Yes, I do.
Thanks.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. And that motion carries.
And that is final action tonight, unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to try this again. Item 18, 25-0151 BAR1, applicant owner Jesus Diaz and Dora Diaz, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow a 10-foot rear yard setback where 15 feet is required for an existing home addition to a single-family dwelling at 4305 San Joaquin Avenue, Ward 3. Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May I have the staff report, please?
So, Madam Chair, we read the staff report in already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It's been a while. Okay. All right. Good evening, sir. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
My name is Jesus Diaz.
Okay.
That's it.
Did you want to spell your name for the record, sir?
Yeah, well, it's for the record. I bought this house the way it is, before, and it got burned, the garage. So I need to fix it, make it nice, better than the way it was before.
Okay.
Well, my architect is not in here. He didn't tell me what to do, what to say, so this is the first time in my life that I've been in front of people like you.
That's okay. What do you want to do to make the house better?
I want to keep it the way it is because I have like 10 feet in the back against the wall, and I think it says 15, and all I got is 10. So I need you guys, if you can consider to leave as it is, so I can rebuild. Okay. The house, I bought it the way it was. At an auction, I bought it without knowing how the house was, and that's all I got.
Okay. All right. This item has been noticed for public comment. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on item number 18? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. I will pass it back to the commission for questions, starting with Commissioner Schlottman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so that was one of my first questions was what's going on with the property, and you bought it from an auction, and you're going to remodel this. How quickly do you think you can get this, started?
When I bought this house, it was so beautiful, and I rented to the wrong people. And their kid, he was there since he was 8, and he one of them sick kids. He's the one who lighted the fire 5 times the house. But there's nothing I can do. I didn't charge against them for anything because this was poor people. They didn't have no money. They hardly ever pay me for the rent. And when I found out that he did it, there's nothing I could do. So now the house has been damaged, and I don't know how much it's going to take me to fix it. But I already got the loan to spend whatever it takes to fix it. But with this problem of the variance there in the back, I said, well, I bought the house like that, and the way it was nice, beautiful. And now I like to bring it back to the way I bought it.
Sure. All right. Well, I mean, I've seen this. It's something that has been here for a while, and it'd be nice to get this house, put back together. And put back together pretty quick, so.
Go ahead, Commissioner DeSalvio.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a question. Is the issue because the distance separation, because there was an addition that was done to the house that is causing you the situation right now, and you want to maintain that? Or was the house originally built that close to the wall? That's kind of where I'm trying to wrap my head around.
I like to keep the house the way it is because 10 feet in the back, there's plenty of room. There's nothing in the back anyway between the wall and the house.
But I guess when you purchased the house, was there an addition that was done to that house that caused you to have the setback issue?
No,
it was an add-on done without permits?
When I bought the house,
maybe it's more of a question for staff.
Yes, Madam Chair, through you, this is a code enforcement case because there were no permits for the construction.
When I bought the house, that's the way it was at an auction. I come in and I never done anything to add anything to the house.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing no other questions from the commission, Commissioner Schlottman, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, on item number 22, 25-0157 VAR1, move to approve.
18.
I'm sorry, we're jumping around here. 18, 25-0151 VAR1, move to approve subject to staff's conditions, and you agree to all staff's conditions of approval?
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes.
Just for the record, my wife told me always that I'm deaf, and I believe her now because I can hardly hear you.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Please post. And that motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And that is final action tonight unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you. Okay, item number 23. 25-0160 VAR1, applicant Gabriela de Luna Olivares, owner Yacil Olivares Cuoto, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow an existing front yard wall fence that does not conform to Title 19.06 development standards for solid and overall wall height at 7356 Restful Springs Court, Ward 1, Knutson. Staff recommends denial. Before we get the staff report, are the applicants here? Okay. Mr. Solis, let's trail this one for a minute. 23. We'll move on to 24, 25-0162 VAR1, applicant Mika Keller, owner Benjamin Richard Keller, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow a 2-foot corner side yard setback where 15 feet is required for a proposed home addition to an existing single-family dwelling at 3204 Sonia Drive, Ward 1, Knutson. Staff recommends denial. May I have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance related to the physical characteristics of the property has been presented to warrant the requested variance, as the applicant is proposing additions that do not meet setback requirements. As such, the hardship is self-imposed, and therefore staff recommends denial of this variance request. If approved, it will be subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Could you please state and spell your name for the record, tell us your address, and tell us about your project?
Hello, my name is Mika Keller, M-I-C-A-K-E-L-L-E-R.
Benjamin Keller, B-E-N-J-A-M-I-N. Keller, K-E-L-L-E-R.
We are both the residents and homeowners of 3204 Sonia Drive, 89107. I'll begin. So we bought this property in 2020. At the time, those owners had purchased it in 1985, and it really just needed a lot of love back into it. This was a dream neighborhood for us. We have 2 littles and really envisioned this being our forever home. The floor plan is the original floor plan to 1962. It's probably the only house in the neighborhood that hasn't had additions made to it. So we have restored it to its glory. We love our home. We host a lot in our home. We entertain a lot, and we love our neighbors. But in the last year or so, we've realized our kids are growing fast, and we're kind of bursting at the seams a little bit. My husband works from home, so he really needs a designated office space where kids aren't running in and out of. Our parents are elderly. We don't have a guest room, so we would like to add a guest room and bathroom. So just that we can stay in this home a lot longer and really, really grow into it for many, many years. With that said, you can see that our property is on the corner. It's a corner lot. Where we're asking for approval is this setback on the west side of the property. Because our house is angled, if we continued this line where we'd put the addition at, this is where we would need that approval. We thought about other areas of the house, so we wouldn't have to, adding on to other areas of the house, so we wouldn't have to request this approval. But as you can see, the pool was already existing, so that really wasn't that option. And then this is our neighbor's line, this is our only shared fence with our neighbor on the east side, and then we also have a shared neighbor line in the backyard, but they look the other way. So again, this kind of encroaches on our neighbor's area here. And we have always been very mindful of everything that we have done to really restore our home has been for this neighborhood. We never wanted to change the aesthetics so much that it really stuck out in the neighborhood. I always appreciated the architecture and the landscaping, so we really wanted to be mindful with that ranch-style home. We also, another option would have been to do a second upstairs area, but this neighborhood has very little second-story houses. And again, a reason we fell in love in this neighborhood is because of so many ranch-style homes. So we finally decided on this west side area to add the addition because it really did not affect anything outside of the front yard. It doesn't even affect our driveway. It doesn't come past our existing driveway. If you could flip back to the photos that I saw earlier, I don't know if that's possible. You can see that this one right here. So right where the window is, where the Tahoe and the window is, in front of that window, that's basically where the addition would go. As you can see, it's set so far back, even with the existing landscape, it would not be an eyesore, it would not be a safety issue, because by the time a car has to come to the, around that corner, they already have the full visibility there. We've thought about the safety for the children playing in the yard. I understand that. That is number one for me. So it still allows for all of that visibility. Am I missing anything?
I mean, I think you did a really nice job. I think the only thing, if I were sitting in your shoes, like, why not just switch it, right? Why not, if you can hear me or not, but on this side, this is where the kids' bedrooms are. So we want to obviously add a girls' and boys' bathroom for each one of the rooms. And then so for obviously, like, why not just switch it? We wouldn't be able to switch it because their bedrooms are on this side of the house. So that's kind of our thinking behind it. And I don't know if you want...
So we do, like we said, we love our neighbors, and we do have our two neighbors that they are to the east of our property. They actually are here as well.
Before they go, I would just say, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, behind you, they did a second-story add-on. And I believe that was not obviously great. People were like, I don't want 2 stories from looking into my house from the 2 stories. So that's another reason why we kind of didn't want to do 2 stories with this structure.
Hello, my name is Joanne Bowdery Davis, Joanne Bowdery-Davis, DAVIS. My husband, John Davis, and we are the neighbors that share the east side wall. We love having the things that the Kellers have done to improve the neighborhood, and I can only see this extension that they're planning to further enhance the look of the area. I don't know what to say beyond that. If you had seen the house before they moved in, it was pretty derelict looking from the outside, and they've just transformed the area, and it does fit in with the neighborhood as it is, and it keeps those aesthetics. So we're in favor of them putting on the extension, and we're the closest neighbors. So
Thank you very much. This item was noticed for public hearing. Are there any other members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will pass it back to the commission, given that Commissioner Rogan is not here tonight, and he is your commissioner. I'm going to pass it to Commissioner Schlottman to start with.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I know this neighborhood really well, and I have friends that live on Sonia. It's one of my favorite streets around that area, so in Vegas and that whole general area. So, you know, I don't. I'd like to see it in person. I know Commissioner Rogan, who is a commissioner over this ward, really wanted to go out and see this before we voted on it. I'd like to ask if you would hold it for 30 days just so he could actually come out and meet with you and take a look at it. Because other than that, I personally would either want him to see it or me to come out and see it, one of us, just so we can see it, how far and how close it gets up. I know how close it gets up to the street and the curb. I can see it on the on your site plan. I can see it from your photos and what you're explaining, and I think it'd be all right. But I think being out on the street and actually looking at it would do a lot of good. I would respectfully ask if we could hold this for 30 days and see if Commissioner Rogan could come out and meet with you.
Hello, thank you for that commentary. I have a question for you as well. So I do have video. I took video on my phone from all angles. If I could share that, I would love to share that with you and the commissioners, only because as we get into construction and I now have to go and request permits and all of that fun stuff, I would like to try to get this done before the holidays. Christmas, I know it sounds like a long time, but Christmas is a big deal, and I would like to get it moving, but if it would...
Just to clarify, you can still work on your plans and your permits, and you can actually submit to the building department with or without our permission. You just can't actually pull that building permit until that time. So if you haven't submitted for your permits, you're probably at least another 90 days out before you're getting a permit, so this wouldn't necessarily delay you.
Okay. Then I don't foresee that being a problem, though. We would love to have you out. Come on
Okay.
over.
All right. Is there a particular time or day, maybe in the next week or so? We're going to be out of town here for the next, we'll be in town next week, I believe, and then we're out of town for the next 2 weeks.
I tell you what, I'll meet you over on the side and I'll give you a contact number, and then we'll set up some time here in 1 second.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So, you want to go, anybody else have any comments? Okay, great. So Commissioner Schlottman, if you want to make a motion on this item, then.
Yes, Madam Chair, on item number 24, 25-0162 VAR1, move to hold that in abeyance to the July 8th, 2025 Planning Commission hearing.
Okay, great, thanks. This is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. All right, please post. And that motion to obey that carries. Thanks, folks. Let's meet Commissioner Schlottman over there. And we will move on to item 25-0164, SUP1, applicant Christian P. Hernandez, owner Nevada Trevi and Samsake Trevi, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed motor vehicle sales used vehicles with a waiver to allow the minimum area for a site designated exclusively for the sale of used motor vehicles to be less than 25,000 square feet at 1410 Northeastern Avenue, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant here? Come on down. Can we get the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, staff finds the proposed motor vehicle sales use supports the goals, policies, and objectives outlined in the City of Las Vegas redevelopment plan for Area 2 by eliminating blight and deterioration of a commercial building that was previously vacant. Additionally, staff finds the requested waiver is minimal in nature, will not negatively affect adjacent commercial land uses, and is appropriate for this segment of Eastern Avenue. Therefore, staff finds the use can be conducted in a harmonious and compatible manner with the surrounding area and recommends approval of this special use permit. Please note additional documents for protest were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ma'am. If you can please state and spell your name for the record and give us your address, and then tell us about the project.
Hi, my name is Christian, Christian Hernandez, Hernandez. Address is 1410 Northeastern Avenue. I'm just here to get approval for special permit for use of used vehicles, the sale of used vehicles.
Okay. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment on item 25? Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and close public comment. I will pass it back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Schlottman.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On this one, and I apologize while you were talking, I was giving someone my number. You are taking down the one of the fences, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And this isn't an SDR, so we can't impose all the typical things that we can impose because it's a special use permit, but staff is recommending approval on this, and if there's no other questions, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on this item? Okay, please make your motion, Commissioner.
Yes, on item number 25, 25-0164, SUP1, I move to approve subject to staff's conditions.
There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Oh, that's me. Please post.
Thank you.
And that motion carries, and you agree to all of staff's conditions?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you, ma'am.
And that item will go on to City Council on July 16th.
Okay, item 26, 25-0165, applicant owner R&T Sparks Family Trust et al. For possible action on the following land use entitlement project request on the west side of Tom Boulevard, approximately 100 feet north of Donnie Avenue, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project. 26A, 25-0165, VAR1, to allow an existing 8-foot-tall solid front yard wall where 5 feet with a 2-foot solid base is the maximum height allowed. 26B, 25-0165, VAR2, to allow no off-site improvements where such are required. 26C, 25-0165 SUP1, for a proposed trucking company use with a waiver to allow more than 5 trucks or trailers on the site at any one time. 26D, 25-0165 SDR, for a proposed trucking company vehicle storage facility with waivers of the perimeter landscape buffer requirements. May we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff finds the proposed trucking company and vehicle storage facility use to be too intense for the area as proposed. This is evidenced by the requested waiver to allow up to 37 commercial vehicles on the subject site at any one time where only 5 is allowed. The site is adjacent to properties zoned RE residence estates. The single-family homes in the surrounding area may be negatively impacted by the large commercial vehicles that will utilize the site, and may have loud engines and air braking systems that will create amplified noise levels. As such, staff recommends denial of the special use permit and the site development plan review. Further, no evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance related to the physical characteristics of the property has been presented to warrant the requested wall height variance or parking variance. As such, the hardship is self-imposed, and therefore staff recommends denial of both variance requests. Please note additional documents for protest were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, gentlemen. If you could please state and spell your names for the record and give us your address and tell us about this project.
Chairperson Taylor and members of the board, my name is Jim DiFiore, D-I capital F-I-O-R-E of DiFiore Consulting and Business Services. I'm pinch hitting for Nathan Taylor, who was involved in a motorcycle accident a few days ago, and he is not able to attend tonight. So what we have here is a request for a lot of 8.89 acres to be approved for commercial parking, and there would be an ingress and egress on Tom Boulevard, and there would be landscaping with trees and shrubs surrounding the perimeter of the property. Mr. Taylor met with Commissioner Munford last week, and if I could have the overhead, and they have agreed, Mr. Taylor has agreed at Mr. Munford's request to have a sidewalk which is on Tom Boulevard extended all the way to the end of the property line and have landscaping included in that change. So we're asking the commission to approve this request with staff conditions and the 2 additional conditions that Mr. Taylor and Commissioner Munford had spoken about.
Okay, thank you. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will pass it back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Munford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to get just a few clarifications on that use. When I was out there, you made it clear that those trucks, because you're a landscaping company, correct?
Correct, and my name for the record is Elliott King, ELLIOTTKING, and I'm at 9220 Blue Agate Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89178.
So the trucks that'll be parked there have more to do with your business, and they're like single axle trucks?
Correct, they're all single axle trucks, nothing is larger than 3 ton, or
Okay.
3/4 ton, I apologize.
Okay. And then what's your business hours usually?
Our typical business hours run from 6 a.m. until 2:30 in the afternoon. Sometimes we'll flow into 3 or 4 in the afternoon, but no earlier than 6 a.m.
Now, and I'm looking at the drawing, when I was out there, I see the, proposed parking spaces. Now, we kind of talked about maybe concentrating those trucks maybe towards the back of the property?
Correct. And we're good with concentrating our vehicles in the rear end of the property.
Okay. With that said, is it possible those conditions I just mentioned, if those could be added?
Sorry, Madam Chair, through you. Yes, I will need to make it so that, let me give it a shot here. So you're asking for a 5-foot sidewalk and a 6-foot landscape buffer, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So because I'm not exactly sure what the property line is here, I'm looking at the site plan, I'm going to go ahead and write it this way. Let's do, the applicant shall coordinate with the Department of Public Works and the Department of Community Development to determine the location of a 5-foot sidewalk and a 5-foot landscape buffer adjacent to Tom Boulevard prior to the submittal of building permits.
Yes, and then the condition, could there be a condition where per their plans, that they kind of move those trucks further back?
Yes, so we can add, and these are conditions to the SDR, which is 26D. So conditions should read that all truck parking shall be located to the rear of the property.
Is that fine?
Agreed.
Okay.
And Commissioner, Josh here.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Through you, I could simplify the offsite improvements one. We already have a deferred, not deferred, improvement contributions for 50% of the deferred improvements. So we would just amend that to install curb, gutter, and sidewalk. Yeah.
Okay.
So our amended condition, just to read it in for the record, amending condition 7 to read, in accordance with Title 19, the applicant shall install curb, gutter, sidewalk, and otherwise make improvement contributions equal to 50% of the city's bond estimates for other deferred improvements on Tom Boulevard. Per Title 19, the streetlight contribution on Tom Boulevard may be reduced to 25% if a service is provided.
Is that fine?
Yep, that works.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, one more time through you, Commissioner, did we also want a business hours condition, or that, no? I know we.
Would you be fine with that? I mean, okay, yeah, that would be fine.
And those hours again were?
If we're putting it as a condition, could we do 5:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon?
I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, so adding condition again to the site plan, which is 26D. Business operation hours shall be limited to 5:30 a.m. until 4 o'clock p.m.
Agreed.
All right, is there any other questions?
Hi. Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I have a couple of questions. So, is all of the parking here for your trucks?
Trucks and trailers, correct?
Okay. And is it currently asphalt, or is it currently?
It's currently like hard, compact chat, like
chat.
rock.
So you're going to be then asphalting this whole area?
Correct.
And you are not putting in the full number of trees that are required, correct?
When we had spoken, we're okay with putting in the correct number of trees. Being a landscape company, we have no issue with that.
You can find some trees?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because my concern is, and everybody up here knows it, that you're adding a whole bunch of asphalt. You've got 24-inch box. You don't even have 36-inch box, which I'm also going to ask if you're willing to install instead of 24-inch.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, great, because I think we need to look at a way to minimize urban heat island impact because of how much asphalt you're putting in. So where, can you put trees along Tom? Can we put maybe some trees, even though they're for your trucks, can you pepper some trees in and amongst this parking lot so that you're cutting down some of the heat island impact?
Absolutely. We can figure out a way in the plans for maybe every 8 spaces or so to add some jutting out islands with some trees, something aesthetically in
Yeah.
the yard.
I mean, and obviously it's, internal to your parking yard, but again, especially in this area, I'm particularly concerned about heat island impact because it is one of the higher areas of heat island impact for the city. So, Mr. Solis, is that something else we can add in as a condition is 36-inch box? And then, so can you put anything along Tom? Any trees along Tom?
We can, yes.
Okay.
I don't know the actual code requirement for size of tree between the sidewalk and our existing wall, but we can match the trees in the area. The two properties adjacent to ours also have trees in the front, and we'd be fine in matching.
Okay. So why don't we do this? Because my request is that you do some more work before you go to city council. You're going to go to city council on this. So maybe you can, so we'll put in the requirement for 36-inch box trees as a condition for planning commission. And then between now and city council, if you can redraw this so that you've got trees in and amongst those parking spots. Sure. And some trees along Tom, that would make me feel very good about the project. Okay. So, you want to?
Yeah, so Madam Chair, for clarification, we are adding a condition so that the trees that are on the landscape plan are 36-inch box
Yes.
for all trees? All
Yes.
trees are 36-inch, okay. And then as far as parking lot trees, are we adding a condition, or are we just,
Well, we can add a condition. I just don't.
or do
I
you just
mean,
want to let them come in with a plan, and then we can work it out between council and planning commission?
Between council.
Okay. Yeah, let's put the 36-inch box in, and then we'll let them work it out between now and council, and
Okay.
Commissioner Munford can communicate with the councilwoman that you'll be bringing something back that has trees along Tom and that has trees in the interior parking lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So for 26D, we'll be adding a condition that all trees on site shall be a minimum of 36-inch box.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And you agree to all the conditions? And
Yes.
you-
Yes.
And even though it's not a condition, you will bring back plans with more trees?
We will.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, with that, anybody else? Nope. Okay, Commissioner Munford, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion for item 0165. Make a motion for
Sorry, it's Commissioner, it's 26, item 26.
26? Oh, it's item 26, right? Item 26, 25-0165, for approval, 26A, 26B, 26C, 26D, subject to all conditions with added conditions read into the record by staff. And again, you have no problem with these conditions?
Yes, no problems.
I move for a motion for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. And please post. And that carries.
And that will move on to city council on July 16th.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item 27, 25-0176, applicant owner For Him For Life, Inc., for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests at the northeast corner of Harris Avenue and Bruce Street, Ward 3 Diaz. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project. 27A, 25-0176 VAR1, to allow a 75-foot residential adjacency setback where 111 feet is required. 27B, 25-0176 VAR2, to allow 242 parking spaces where 340 are required. 27C, 25-0176 SUP1 for a residential multifamily use, 27D 25-0176 SDR1 for a proposed three-story, 204-unit multifamily residential development with waivers of the perimeter landscape buffer and building orientation requirements. May we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. While additional residential units are needed and encouraged within East Las Vegas, the proposed development is too intense for the area as evidenced by the requested residential adjacency and parking variances. In addition, the applicant has requested waivers to reduce landscape buffer widths and reduce the amount of perimeter trees, which contributes to the heat island effect in one of the hotter areas of the city. As such, staff recommends denial of the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen. If you could please state and spell your names for the record and give us your address and tell us about the project.
Thank you so very much. Ricky Barlow for the record, LV Access. Land Use Consultants, 2222 West Bonanza. And standing with me is Mr. Jay Nady. I do want to just point something out that just came through the AP today, Commissioners. And this was an article that I'm not sure if you all had an opportunity to see today, but I thought it was pretty encouraging to see an outside entity outside of the state of Nevada who's paying attention to what's going on in Las Vegas and how we're basically addressing the affordable housing need here in Southern Nevada. So having said that, I would like to read into the record and clarify some things as it relates to the application before us here today. Number one, I'm excited to represent this application for the proposed multifamily residential project located at 800 North Bruce Street, located at the intersection of North Bruce Street and North Maryland Parkway. This development will provide a much-needed addition of 204 multifamily housing units on 4.5 acres with a density of 45.3 units per acre. The project is designed to enhance the surrounding community, support workforce housing needs, and align with the city's broader revitalization goals. Additionally, we are requesting a special use permit to allow multifamily residential use within a C1 limited commercial zoning district in accordance with the Title 19 of the Las Vegas Municipal Code. We also request a variance to the city's parking requirement, which I'll get into much deeper into our conversation today, as the proposed 234 on-site spaces represent a strategic reduction based on proximity to transit, multimodal accessibility, and land use compatibility. The increased demand for attainable housing, high-quality housing in Las Vegas, particularly for the city's growing workforce, underscores the necessity of this project. Downtown has grown economically, but affordable housing hasn't kept up with the demand, as we all know. Our proposed development directly addresses the shortfall by providing one-bedroom and two-bedroom units at price points accessible to workforce professionals, young families, and service industry employees. Workforce housing has become a pressing issue across the country, particularly in cities experiencing rapid job growth. A lack of attainable rental units leads to increased commute times, financial stress, and diminished quality of life for essential workers. Las Vegas is no exception, with escalating rental prices making it difficult for many employees in sectors such as healthcare, education, hospitality, public service, to live near their workplaces. Our development will alleviate this strain by increasing supply of well-designed, conveniently located housing units. This project's proximity to mass transit options and rideshare availability further enhances accessibility and reduces dependency on personal vehicles, making it a sustainable housing solution for the local workforce. Beyond meeting housing demand, this development will contribute to the revitalization of the downtown area. With Cashman Field recently auctioned to Lennar and other commercial establishments nearby, an increase in residential density will stimulate local businesses and create a more vibrant, walkable community, which of course the city of Las Vegas has been pushing the walkable community concept for many years. More residents in this area will translate to increased economic activity, benefiting retailers, restaurants, and service providers alike. Our design has been developed in alignment with Title 19 requirements wherever feasible, and the following points summarize key site planning and design standards. As it relates to the lot frontage and the waiver that we are requesting, we held 2 neighborhood meetings. And working with residents in this area, and if we can go to the overhead, please. The residents to the north, east, and south property lines all came to the neighborhood meeting on a couple of occasions that we held right here on site. And they all requested to work with us on this design, and this is how we got to this point over a 2-year process, commissioners. This has been in the making for 2 years. So I don't want to underscore that whatsoever. And the reason why we're asking what we're asking, because this is what we work with and it was the work out with the residents. They did not want the buildings to be adjacent to their homes on the east property line nor the north. And even the residential properties that are across the street on Harris asked that we push the units back. Therefore, we're coming before you because we know that in the downtown plan, the buildings are requested to be on the corner. But we've pushed it back to basically accommodate the residents who ultimately came to support this project. And so we pushed all of the units as far as we could to the west property line. In addition to that, working with Public Works, and at that time, it was Jorge Cervantes, who we were working with, and his staff, before he became city manager. They informed us that Maryland Parkway is going under a redesign. And to this day, that redesign is still being talked about and drafts are being created. And so therefore, this intersection at Maryland Parkway and Bruce will be redesigned. And so therefore, they asked us to kind of work with them on this corner because they didn't know how much they would have to take. So therefore, we came back as far as we could to the south property line, and we basically met the conditions based on staff's assistance on the north property line because we had to make sure we had the 3-to-1 ratio of the 2-story buildings on this site. So therefore, it put us in such a pinch to whereas we wanted to make sure that we brought a quality product to Ward 3 that we all can be proud of, as it sits on the border of Ward 5. And as we all know, these are 2 critical service need areas in the greater Las Vegas community. And having said that, working with fire, working with staff, Public Works, and all of your staff here at the City of Las Vegas, this was the best concept that we were able to get everyone to sign off on. Now, I understand that staff, by code, has to deny certain elements such as the variance, as well as the, I think the variances are what they, or in a couple, maybe a waiver. But I believe that they're insignificant in regards to the overall development and beauty of what we're bringing and the need for these particular critical areas in Ward 3. What we have done also, outside the scope of the City of Las Vegas requirements, was increased the open space, because we understand that these are 1- and 2-bedroom units, commissioners, and we know what size units we're talking about here. So therefore, we wanted to make sure, and specifically Mr. Nady wanted to make sure that we weren't creating such a dense property that it would create elements that we don't like or don't want, because this is going to be his legacy project. And we'll talk about that also moving forward. So what we've done is increase the landscaping, and we'll be happy to do more if required, but to my understanding, we have met all of the landscape requirements. And if not, we have no problem with communicating with staff and making those adjustments. But when we spoke last, we understood, working with our architect, Aptus Architects, who have been very diligent and thorough, that we've met that. But hearing today for the first time that we have not met the landscape plan is actually news to us, but we don't have a problem with that because we want landscape also, because we want to make sure that this is a quality development that basically we all can be proud of. And so if in fact we need to bump up the landscaping, I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of Mr. Nady that we're okay with that. So that's not an issue for us, okay? So I just want to put that out there to make sure that that's on the record as well. So moving forward, the parking, I know, is critical as well. But being that the location of this infill development, it's in the downtown community, it's on a transit roadway system, Lennar has just picked up 50-plus acres on Cashman Field, which there, to my understanding, will be building single-family detached to include additional multifamily and possibly affordable housing units as well. There's going to be ample enough transportation and modes of transportation in this area, and specifically with the workforce of the individuals who will be renting from our facility. Traditionally, we'll have one vehicle. And so we try to balance creating more open space by taking a few more parking spaces to make sure that this campus wasn't a campus that was so tight that it did not make sense for anyone to want to live there. We want to make sure that we're creating something that is attractive and that's something that will be here for a long time to come. Commissioners, this proposal reflects a commitment to responsible, inclusive development. The site layout, building massing, and landscape elements were all crafted with sustainability and livability in mind. With reduced but strategically planned parking, shaded outdoor gathering areas, and high-efficiency building systems, this project provides an attractive and practical solution to a critical housing need here in the city of Las Vegas, and we can't be more proud to develop in Ward 3 as it sits on the border of Ward 5, two of the most critical service need areas within the greater Las Vegas community. So at this time, I would like to introduce my cohort and owner, developer, Mr. Jay Nady, but before he come, I would like to at least brag on him just a little bit because he has done so much in the short time that he's been on this earth. And I would like to start by stating on February 3rd, 1972, Mr. Nady walked into his first official boxing match as a referee in the state of Nevada. Mr. Nady has been the most visible referee ever since. He just had a fight June 2nd, 2025. To go to show you how long he's been in the ring on all of the major bouts that we have all enjoyed for many, many years here in Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. He's a University of Reno graduate. He's in the Boxing Referee Hall of Fame. He's in the Boxing Hall of Fame as well as the UNR's All Sports Hall of Fame. He's taught accounting at the University of Nevada, Reno, and he is the president and CEO of ACAB Taxi Company, where he employs over 200 employees a block away from this development. Mr. Nady is not only committed, but he lives a block away from this site that we're looking to develop. And so at this time, I would like to bring Mr. Nady to the microphone to share a few words. Thank you.
Good job, Ricky. If you own a cab company, the cab company owns you. And when he said that I live there really, literally, we're a 24-hour business. I'm not going to skimp on anything. We've got people who will help us with the finance. That's pretty much out of the way. It's something that we can do. It's something I believe the city needs, and it's not something that's going to go unwatched or I won't be there every day. I like boxing too. I've been doing it my whole life, I think. Anyway, I got out of the Army in '72 and went right to work as a teacher at the University of Nevada. I taught accounting for 3 years there. And I also became a professional fighter for a short time, and then I decided I didn't want to do that. And I'm a regular guy here, and I've been here, I moved down here in '84, left Nevada, Reno. Anyway, and UNLV, I go to some of their games. Other than that, I'm just a regular guy.
Mr.
And I own
Nady.
a taxi company. And I've been self-employed almost the entire time after I got out of the Army as a captain.
Thank you, Mr. Nady, for that background. Would love to talk to you about your work all night long. I actually, one of my first jobs was at the Washoe County Court, and I worked with Judge Mills Lane, so anyway.
He and I were best friends.
Yeah, but
I introduced him to Kay,
Yeah.
and I was his best man when he got married.
Excellent. But we're getting a little bit off topic for the project, so let's go ahead and open this up for public comment, since this is a public comment item, and we can talk afterwards. Anybody who wants to make comments from the public, please come down, line up, so that we can just kind of move through everybody. There's 3 microphones, so just come on up, stand at a microphone. And we'll start with you, sir, in the middle, name, state and spell for the record, and your address.
Kevin Child, Kevin Child, Madam Chair, members of the commission. I've been here since 1975, was a former school board trustee of the Clark County School District. Something like this project is well needed in a financially challenged neighborhood. There's over 7 schools in that neighborhood, a high school, middle school, and a lot of elementary. We need teachers, we need housing, we need affordable housing. So I'm asking you guys on this commission to go ahead and approve this project, and I really appreciate what you guys do, and I appreciate, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Child. Sir, on the left, you've already spoken. You spoke for quite a long time at the beginning of the meeting. Is there anything new you wanted to add from your prior comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to clear up my comments earlier. My name is Michael Boucher, Michael Boucher, and I just wanted to restate that I oppose this project for the given reasons I stated earlier.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boucher. Sir, and folks, come on down, line up at the microphone. Your name, state and spell it for the record, and give us your address.
Antonio Boucher, Boucher, 1708 Leslie Avenue. I'd like to state a couple small things. The gentleman next to me stated there was numerous schools in the area. If you look it up, the only actual elementary school is over here, Hallie Houston Elementary School. It's stated around 1,000 kids in that area. Along with that, you've got the Leonard project that's supposed to be single-family homes. You got a 100-unit complex for the Blind Center just north of that, and they're proposing another 200 families in that area. That property is elevated property about 8 to 9, maybe 10 feet above those existing properties adjacent to it. And they're stating that the area in question has enough stated parking, and it does not. All you have to do is drive in that neighborhood, and you will know those are 4, 5 vehicle families because they have multiple people within those properties. Along with those vehicles, they are not the best vehicles. They are vehicles constantly being worked on. They are working class vehicles. To include the statement as far as the reconstruction of Maryland Parkway, if you live in that area, you know for a fact that this corner right here, every couple months, maybe once a year at least, there is a massive accident from people going downhill on Maryland, making a left-hand turn, and basically hitting the barrier right here and going into this field. I grew up there 33 years ago, been there 33 years with my parents, and we've seen it numerous times. They put up guardrails. Go look at the guardrails. It's banged up. The reconstruction that's stated for the city council that you guys are proposing is a single-lane roadway down this way with a dedicated bike, I believe. And I don't think that's going to help very much when you're adding another 200 vehicles at a minimum, assuming that they're working-class families. That might be 400 vehicles, plus the vehicles here, plus the vehicles there. It's quite a lot of traffic and infrastructure that needs to be thought of before you approve something like this, including the 3 stories looking down into other people's properties.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're setting timers for 2 minutes. Everybody's been sort of at 2 minutes. So, ma'am, go ahead and state and spell your name for the record and give us your address.
Vanessa Vasquez, VANESSA-VAZQEZ. I'm actually a resident, 812 North 18th Street. So I also grew up within the neighborhood, and this, I was not informed about a neighborhood meeting that we had. This was the first time we actually got a pamphlet for a commission, for an actual commission meeting. So this is my first time hearing about this. Along with another neighbor, she couldn't come today, but the 3-story building, we like to oppose this because we were not informed of this and not to. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, sir, on the left. You with the bolo.
My name is Jose Garcia. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I approve this project, and I know how hard it is to work on these projects. In '95, we tore down Cedar Gardens with the city council that supported us on the project. It took us 5 years to get the grant, tear it down, to lower the density from 80 units to 40 affordable homes. As a former vice president for the East Las Vegas Community Arbors Corporation, there's a much need in the housing community. So I started my own corporation. It's the Culver City Research and Development Corporation. And I research a lot of land that you guys are building in Summerlin, in Henderson, all over Las Vegas, and you guys are neglecting the East Las Vegas. By pushing these projects away, we need more housing to provide the houses that the housing authority needs for Las Vegas. So is it gonna take them another 5 to 10 years for you guys to get this project approved? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Finally, go ahead.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Gonzalez, KEVENGONZALEZ. And thank you for this opportunity to speak on case 250176 at 800 North Bruce Street. Las Vegas urgently needs more housing, and I support efforts to bring affordable homes to our city. At the same time, it's important that new developments are thoughtfully designed to enhance our neighborhoods and meet city standards. The city code calls for buildings on corner lots to be oriented to the corner and street fronts, creating an active and welcoming environment. While the current plan places parking at the corner, I believe we can achieve the same inviting feel by using that space for well-designed green landscaping, trees, and possibly public art. This approach can make the site more attractive and pedestrian-friendly, even if the building itself isn't right at the corner. To address concerns about parking and green space, I suggested a balanced solution, slightly reducing the number of units. This will lower the parking requirement, free up more land for landscaping, and help the project meet city standards. Fewer units means fewer cars, which benefits both residents and the surrounding area. If reducing units is not possible, I encourage considering a compromise, such as allocating a bit more space to parking if absolutely necessary, but always prioritizing green buffers and visual appeal. I also support increasing green buffers and more trees and landscaping along the edges of the property and stepping down building heights near existing single-family homes. This means the parts of the building closest to neighbors would be lower, reducing visual impact and helping the development fit better with its surroundings. The city code allows for waivers and alternatives when the intent of the rules is met. With creative design, prioritizing green space, public art, and thoughtful transitions to existing homes, this project can provide much-needed housing while still enhancing the neighborhood. I urge the Commission to support a revised plan that balances our city's housing needs with quality design and community benefit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am?
Salma Flores, SALMA-FLORES, a resident at 1708 Leslie Avenue. And I just wanted to make note that living there 35 years, never received any sort of notice about any neighborhood meetings about this project. And I don't believe that it's really good for the area. I do agree that affordable housing is needed. Maybe if it's, like that gentleman suggested, if it's reduced to maybe 150 units, 125, something that's more suitable for the area. I just think that maybe 205 is just a little too much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Anybody else wishing to make comment on this item? Okay, seeing no other members of the public, I will close public comment and invite the applicant back up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ricky Barlow for the record. I want to thank the residents for coming and sharing what they shared today. You all know just as well as I do that when we try to notice residents specifically for infill projects, it's not the easiest. And I understand that people have jobs and other things that they're working on, and not everyone can make meetings. However, the 2 meetings that we held were very well attended, and staff was there as well. The City of Las Vegas staff was there as well, and it was very well attended. We're talking approximately 30 to 40 residents that were there. So I apologize to those that were unable to make it. However, the meetings were very thoughtful. The residents spoke their mind, and we presented the application that's before you to the residents, and this is the buy-off that they asked us to move forward with, and that's why we're here today, asking for your support of this item. Commissioners, if there's any adjustments that you would like for us to make, we're amenable to that, because we are here to support the need for critical housing in these critical areas. You all know just as well as I do, infill development is not easy. Not in my backyard. But the alternative is going to be not in my backyard. If it's not this, then what? So I'm not trying to be deflective in any way, but we know that this is a suitable project, a developable project that can actually really improve the quality of life and fill the need of what is needed here in the greater Southern Nevada community. And this affordable housing development is the right fit. And I'm open to any suggestions that you all have as it relates to this development, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that it's quality and it's something that you all can be proud of, and we want to be proud of at the same time, Commissioner. The ratio for the setback, if we can go to the overhead. This ratio meets the City of Las Vegas setback 3-to-1. We meet the city's requirement in regards to residential adjacency standards. We meet that. We met with your staff to make sure that the north, east, and south property lines were in place as it relates to the setbacks to meet the residents' needs, such as what they spoke of. So I believe that that conversation has been addressed. And at this time, we will be happy to entertain any questions or thoughts as it relates to this application before you, Commissioners, and be happy to exchange and dialogue as to your thoughts and your position as we move forward to hopefully receive the approval of this quality development that we're looking to bring into Ward 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barlow. I'm going to pass it back over to the commission, starting with Commissioner Schlottman.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. And good evening, and appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Thanks for the presentation. You know, it's good to hear some of the history and that there were a couple of neighborhood meetings. I wasn't aware of those neighborhood meetings. When did those occur?
Like I shared with you, Commissioner, these meetings took place, the very first meeting, let me see, what is this, 2025? So the first meeting was in 23, the second one was in 24.
Okay.
And
all right.
from there, we had the ability to work with staff. Kathy Gibson Thomas was a part of those conversations when she was here at the City of Las Vegas, and prior to her, I forgot the other gentleman's name. I can't think of the other gentleman's name, but we worked with several of your departments through iterations of what the needs were as it relates to the affordable housing units. And let me also mention this. it was the city of Las Vegas that asked us, when we first brought the first concept was a mixed-use development. Retail on the bottom, residential above. And then the city of Las Vegas moved to auction the Cashman Field. And once they did that, we were asked to take the retail out to allow the retail to move to the Las Vegas Boulevard portion of any developments that were on the frontage street. So these are all, I'm providing a historical backdrop, Commissioner, in regards to how we got to this point.
No, I appreciate that.
We've been moving around trying to basically appease the residents, the city, and this is pretty much the balance of where we've arrived to, sir.
Right, and I appreciate that too. So, in reading the staff report, a lot of times we want to see the retail on the ground level, but I agree with this. I don't feel that having retail or commercial on the ground floor of this particular development would help. I think it would actually hurt this development, hurt the neighborhood, because it would just add more traffic onto this site. I don't know, Public Works will probably send me a note tomorrow telling me that I need to read up on this. But I would almost think that the commercial would produce a lot more traffic or trips in and out, because this is currently Zone C1. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And if we had C1 commercial uses on this particular property, we could see, hundreds of trips per hour going in and out of all of these particular uses versus residential. We have seen these particular properties that have sat like this for years. One was on Rancho, and we had a commercial project that was proposed, and then people didn't want it, and then we had a housing project, and the neighborhood didn't want it, and then we presented some rehabilitation center, and that's what actually got approved. So something will go here. I mean, could it be single-family residential? Will it be multifamily? Right now, we have a multifamily plan in front of us, and so that's what I'm going to look at. In reading some of the staff report where they call out different issues, which talks about the waivers and everything, I was reading the justification letter where you said you're having street trees every 20 foot on center, and I went back and looked at the plan, and it did look like there was quite a bit of landscaping going all the way around the perimeter of this property.
Correct.
But also there's something in the staff report that claims that there's only 77, an exception is requested to allow 77 perimeter landscape buffer trees where 92 are required. And I'd like for staff to comment on that.
Yeah.
Sure, Madam Chair, through you, Commissioner. The spacing shown on the landscape plan is 30 feet on center along the right-of-ways. Code requires 20 feet on center along the right-of-ways.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think you were agreeing to, even in your justification letter, you said you'd put it at 20 feet. And earlier during your presentation, you said you'd meet any kind of landscape condition. So
that is correct.
You would be willing to put those in at 20 foot on the center?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We have.
I'm just asking.
I know you know where my heart is, because I pounded for more landscape. So we're okay with landscape.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get clarification. So,
Mr. Nady, are we good?
Okay.
I'm happy.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea too, but I like trees. I climb them like an ape.
We're good, Commissioner.
Okay, and then
give us our number and we'll take care of it. I have no problem with the greenery.
Okay, and the parking at 242 parking spaces where 340 are required. We see this quite a bit. I mean, there's we calculated at 1.25 spaces for one bedroom and 1.75 spaces for a two bedroom, and in downtown. Now I know we're not directly in downtown, but directly in downtown we have reduced that down to half a parking space per unit. And so far it's been fairly successful. This is way over what we would typically be able to, I mean, it's a lot more than what we would typically be able to reduce it down to. We would usually be able to reduce this down to about 160 spaces, and you're providing 242 spaces here. Based on some of the other parking studies and analysis that I've seen, I feel that it would be adequately parked at the 242 spaces. So I don't have a huge issue with that. And as I'm going down, so there's a waiver requested to allow the buildings to not be oriented towards the corner where it's required.
May I speak to that if you don't mind?
Yes,
Commissioner?
please.
According to staff, they stated that the orientation of the building's address must be on Harris. Today, on the deed, the address is 800 North Bruce. It's been that way. And so they asked that we, in order for us to keep or change the orientation based on the code, we had to put in a waiver to request that we keep the address 800 North Bruce Street versus turning the building to Harris to have a Harris address. So we would like to keep Bruce as our address because from a marketing standpoint, it makes more sense logistically to have the 800 North Bruce Street versus the Harris.
And all of our entrances and exits means is coming directly off of Bruce as well, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
We do have one entrance coming off of Harris, and we have exits coming off of Bruce with, I believe, one entrance on Bruce, but we do have two exits on Bruce, on the south and the north side of the west property line.
Okay. Is this a gated community or non-gated?
It's gated semi, right?
But
because of the throat depth of the entryways.
You can't put in a gate because you don't have the setback?
That is correct.
I got it. All right. Let me look at this. The interior, so waiver is requested to allow the 6-foot perimeter landscape buffer where 8 feet's required.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the interior property lines, but
that is correct.
On the interior, that's from the back of the parking stalls up to the block wall.
Correct.
And then there's still plenty of landscaping going in that all the way around.
Correct. The landscaping to include the more open space, because what we really wanted to do is to make sure that we weren't creating a concrete jungle. We wanted to make sure that we had enough open space for these families and young professionals who would be living here to be outdoors because of the size and footprint of the unit in which they'll be residing.
All right. Okay, well, those are my comments for now. I want to see if anybody else has any comments on this before we move forward.
I just have a question. Why wasn't there a community meeting in 2025? Obviously, people, if you're relying on 24 and 23, as far back as 23, I'm sure the same people were involved in that. So why wasn't there a chance for the community to meet in 2025?
Well, number one, Commissioner, we were only required to do one community meeting, but we held two. And once we received the supermajority of the residents, and they were okay, we've been working with staff ever since. And working with staff has taken a long time to get to this point because staff has basically been working with us to make a lot of additional adjustments as it relates to this application. And so by the time we put in the application, of course, it takes, a month and a half just to get to the Planning Commission. And in addition to that, meeting with several staff and council people to make sure that they knew that this application was coming as well.
Okay, thank you.
I can honestly say that we didn't have, at the end of our meetings, in both of them, everybody at that meeting was happy for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, they had some problems in the beginning. We explained what we were going to do. We explained it well. And everybody in that room, and I would imagine there were a good 50 or 60 people both times, Usually, I think most of them had been there the first time and very few were new the second time, but there were a few. And everybody at that meeting was in favor of it.
I just have a couple of questions on the landscaping. So I'm looking at the parking lot, and I'm a little confused because there's a comment about having parking islands and parking trees. It was somewhere in the documentation. And obviously, if you have to put parking trees in, or parking islands and parking trees in, that further reduces your parking availability. But then when I looked at it, it looks like you've got covered parking. Is that for every parking spot in the community? Because look at your map, your supporting documentation map.
Right, see, the parking stalls, the covered parking is here and here. So we have, are we at the overhead?
I'm not seeing what you're indicating.
Can we go to the overhead? I'm asking them to go to the overhead.
Thanks.
Okay. So Commissioner, what we have here are covered parking.
Okay.
And we have the landscaping and trees on the corners here around the property to include the cluster of trees and landscaping on the perimeter, and these are all parking stalls here.
And are those parking stalls on the exterior, are those also covered?
Out here?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Every
parking stall.
Every parking stall is
Every parking
covered.
stall is covered. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I couldn't quite tell. So that obviously takes out some of my concerns about Urban Heat Island because you're covering them.
Correct.
And then I also noted there was a comment, and I know you said you would be willing to work on it, but there were some comments in the staff report about your plant material not meeting Southern Nevada Water Authority required trees. So presuming that is something that you will address.
Ma'am, if you will, in my opening statement, I have it here that while all other plant materials conform to the Southern Nevada Regional Plant List as outlined in the code, we will meet or exceed that. So we have no problem with,
No, that
with
just,
the materials.
yeah, easy confirmation. So
Yes, ma'am.
if something that you currently have doesn't meet the plant list, you will replace it with something that does.
If it does not meet code when it comes to landscaping, it will meet code before certificate of occupancy.
Madam Chair, for clarification as well, that we did, or staff did add a condition requiring those non-trees to be in compliance with the plant list.
Okay, great, thanks. And then I am concerned about I was trying to find a better map that gave me the visual for the three-story buildings adjacent to the residences. Can you talk about how, what are you doing in terms of being able to buffer those buildings and the residences that sit behind the proposed development?
Here, this is what you're referencing, Commissioner. Let me go back to the ratio. The ratio is by way of code. It's 3-to-1, and we have met that working with your staff.
Okay.
So what we've done is pushed the buildings, the site, let me see the site. What we've done is push the buildings within the ratio, it must be under here, so hold on a second. Oh, here it is, I'm sorry, okay. Which way do you want it, Commissioner? This way or the other way?
And push it up a little bit
This way?
No, you had it right before.
I had it? Okay.
Yeah, just, there you go. Great,
Okay.
okay, thanks.
All right. So.
Oh, I see.
The ratio is 3-to-1 based on code, because of course, this is how we're able to position the Lego blocks, if you will, in regards to the development. And so with the property line being, can you see this okay, Commissioner? Okay, I just want to make sure. With the property line being here, the 3-to-1 ratio is your code.
Okay.
And so therefore, the sight line exceeds that.
So
as far
again,
as the
Commissioner,
setback.
for clarification, staff doesn't have that exhibit. Currently, our plans are still showing the variance being required. We have 102-foot setback required, where 81's being provided per our current plans right now. So just for clarification, that's what we have in front of us. So
Okay.
we don't have that exhibit.
Okay,
Well, I'll be happy to submit the exhibit, and we can follow this exhibit, but one thing that I can say is that meeting with staff and providing the setbacks when we were in our meeting approximately 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, we received these numbers and calculations from city staff. And so if in fact there's an adjustment that needs to be made, then the staff needs to adjust the title because our architects took this from the code.
okay, so I understand what you're saying is there is some discrepancy between what you believe you're hearing from staff for setback and what you believe you are providing as being conforming to staff. So I think
But we're only off by a few feet, so I don't want us to lose that.
Well, according to what the variance says, you're off by 36 feet, because it's saying 111 is required and you're looking for a 75-foot residential adjacency. So, I mean, that's obviously something that's got to get worked out.
This is what she's saying. I'm sorry, what's your question?
Well, I'm looking.
Yeah,
for
Madam
Sophie's-
Chair, the plans we have are showing a deficiency in the residential adjacency setback. We're not seeing what the step back elevations that are being presented now aren't in our backup. We haven't seen those. So we can work with him
Okay.
to get what we need, but at this point, we're still requiring, we would still require the variances as our plans are showing currently right now.
Okay, so what you're saying, Mr. Barlow, though, is if there is a residential setback requirement and there is some miscommunication between what your understanding is a setback requirement and what you're actually providing, you are willing to work with staff before city council to make sure, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yes,
To make sure that, you do not have a setback variance. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All
Yes,
right,
we're good.
great.
We're
So-
good. Staff is great to work with, by the way.
I know they are. They're
very-
amazing.
I just hate to get here and we're not on the same page when we're here, but we're on the same page when we're in the back room, but we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
So for me then, between now and city council, you will work on any landscaping deficiencies. My other big thing, especially for this area, are you willing to do 36-inch box trees instead of 24?
That shouldn't be a problem, but that could, we're working on a very, very,
Tight margin? Okay.
it's affordable housing, Commissioner. And I'm not saying that we go, we slack on that, but it is an additional cost to be added to the bottom line of the already existing small budget.
Okay. Maybe you
But
can.
we will provide the additional, if in fact we don't meet the landscape requirement as it relates to the trees, because I know we meet the landscape, the shrub ratio. If we need to bump that up, we're happy to bump that up.
Shrubs don't provide urban forestry that mitigates heat island impact. And if you look at the
If we need to
2050
bump trees
master
up,
plan.
yes,
Okay.
ma'am, we'll bump
All
trees
right.
up.
If you can look at a few, maybe even that would be at that higher size, that would be great. So maybe there's
Yes.
some where you can look at 36-inch between now and city council. That would be my request for that. And making sure that you are meeting your setback requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
So those are my couple of items.
Good deal.
Anybody else? No, okay.
I just wanted to say, I've known Mr. Nagy and Mr. Barlow had been working on this site for quite some time, and I just want to concur that there are, my feelings is that there are definite needs for affordable housing in this area, especially since it's right next to our, my ward. And it seems like, the trend in that area is that there's, with the sale of Cashman Field, that, that whole area could be an opportunity to provide, needed housing in that area.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Schlottman, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, just a couple more comments, and I know somebody brought up, I think the first gentleman who got up was a traffic impact study, and I just want to let him know that as soon as, if this does get approved at City Council, that's when we'd usually see drainage studies and traffic studies, and then if there's anything such as widening of those streets or connectors, or putting in crosswalks or speed bumps to help slow things down if people are rushing through there too quickly, as the other gentleman stated. I think Mr. Gonzalez was stating that. So all of those things can be looked at during that traffic study, and our Department of Public Works is the one who will make sure that they impose any of those conditions that's needed at that point. But looking at this, living in this ward, going down Maryland Parkway for the past 15 years and going up Bruce, almost weekly, there's a lot of older, dilapidated multifamily. This would breathe a little bit of light right there on that corner. It's a good-looking project. I'm appreciative that you didn't bring us something that was going to look dated from day number one, because we need stuff to help try bringing up the neighborhood. I appreciate you not putting in the ground level retail, because I think that could have been detrimental. And also, I do want to see those additional trees. You agreed to it. We're beating a dead horse here, but just make sure that that gets taken care of before City Council. And also, if you don't mind, before you leave the chambers today, the one lady who come up here and she said that she didn't have a chance to attend any of the meetings. If you'll at least
I'll
give
be
her.
happy to meet with her.
Yes, please
Yes, I
do.
will.
Give her.
And anyone else that would like to meet as well. Give them a personal neighborhood meeting right now.
Okay, perfect. That's good. I just wanted to make sure you exchanged information with all of them. But based on all of the items that we discussed today, I am willing to make a motion for approval.
Madam Chair, quickly, Commissioners, through you, Madam Chair, to the Commissioners, I have a note here about a tree spacing of 20 feet on center. Is that a condition, or is that?
Yes, I would like that to be a
So
condition.
quickly, for 27D, we're going to add a condition that states perimeter landscape tree spacing along frontages of Bruce Street and Harris Avenue shall be a minimum of 20 feet on center.
Tree spacing?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Solis, that would take care of the exception of the 77 perimeter trees where 92 are required?
It should, because the interior is 30 feet on center, but we'd have to do the calcs.
Okay, well, I won't make this a condition, but I'll just make this direction just to see if we can get rid of that exception before it goes to City Council. And then, Mr. Barlow, if you'll work with city staff again, because they may not have received that, or somehow the residential adjacency setback with that diagram didn't get in somehow. But that's a really easy conversation for you to have and make sure that gets in before
Easy
City
fix.
Council. All right.
Easy fix, an email.
All right, perfect. So on item number 27, 25-0176, items A through D, I would move to approve subject to staff's conditions and modified condition as read into the record by our planning staff.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes.
Chair, through you, we'll have to do a verbal vote again.
Please.
Commissioner DeSalvio,
Yay.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yay.
Commissioner Schlottman,
Aye.
Chair Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Mumford.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you.
And those items will move on to City Council on July 16th.
July 16th?
Thank you. All right, item 28.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you,
Have a good
Mr.
night.
Barlow. Thank you, Mr. Nady. Item 28, 25-0177, applicant owner DNW Inc. for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests at 240 North Jones Boulevard, Suites E and F, Ward 1, Knutson. Staff recommends approval on the land use entitlement project 28A 25-0177 SUP1 for a proposed gaming establishment, restricted use 1 to 5 machines, 25-0177 SUP2 for a major amendment to an approved special use permit, SUP 59535 for a proposed 664 square foot expansion to an existing 1,328 square foot package liquor off-sale establishment use, alcohol off-premise full. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, as proposed, the expansion of the legal non-conforming use and establishment of restricted gaming at the subject site is appropriate and will be compatible with adjacent commercial uses in the shopping center and within the surrounding area. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the requested special use permits. Please note additional documents for protest and support were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Good evening. David Brown, 520 South 4th Street, DAVID-BROWN. As you saw from the pictures that they just surveyed, this is an existing liquor store already. We're not asking to add a new liquor store. There was a liquor store as well as a pizza restaurant next door. They would just be removing the wall and making this into one establishment. We're in agreement with all of the conditions. We do have staff's recommendation of approval. Hope to have yours as well.
Thank you, sir, very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. I will pass it back to the commission. Is there anybody from the commission that has any comments on this item?
Yes, Madam Chair, I spoke to Commissioner Rogan and also looked at this myself, and neither one of us really had any issues with this, and I'm ready to make a motion if there's no other comments.
Please do.
Madam Chair, on item number 28, 25-0177, 28A and B, move to approve, subject to staff's conditions, and you agree to all staff's conditions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes, or we will cast our votes verbally. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you all.
And that will move on to City Council on July 16th.
Thank you. Item 29, 25-0183 VAR1, applicant Electric Mushroom, owner 516 Fremont Series of the Ham Fremont LLC, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow proposed wall and canopy sign that do not conform to Title 19 development standards at 518 Fremont Street, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, no evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance related to the physical characteristics of the property has been presented to warrant the requested variance. As such, the hardship is self-imposed, and therefore staff recommends denial of this variance request. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Sure, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Mark Whitehouse, MARK, WHITE, 6630 Arroyo Springs, Las Vegas, Nevada. Bringing before you this evening a fantastic addition to the Fremont Street area and downtown nightlife of Las Vegas. We do understand staff's recommendation due to the excessive square footage, and we feel that that is justified with the area that it is going in. Right down the street, we have a giant praying mantis. We have a large beer glass right across the street, a several-story high zipline tower, and many fantastic restaurants and signs that identify a very unique area in Las Vegas. This is simply going to fit right into the area and attract attention. What we have before you tonight is an oversized psychedelic mushroom that will be made of EPS foam and covered in a fiberglass shell with some electrified lightning bolts that will animate, some scintillating letters and neon letters that will animate, and some multicolor LED lighting that will animate the building. Again, we feel this is a fantastic addition to the nightlife of Fremont Street. It will add attraction and bring people down to the area. Commissioner Schlottman, I want to thank you personally for your time with the ownership, and per your direction, we did meet with the neighborhood businesses, and all of them are excited about seeing this
project come to their area, and they feel that will help their businesses as well. So we seek your support this evening on this matter, and I can field any questions you may have at this time. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will pass this back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Schlottman.
Thank you, Chairwoman, through you, and thank you for the short, brief presentation. Thanks for coming out to my office and the applicants out here today. Yeah, we went through this, and it's fitting on Fremont Street. Tons of big signs and very bright, everything from the Fremont Street experience all the way through Fremont East. And if you were 3 or 4 more blocks over in Fremont East Entertainment District, we'd be having a different conversation tonight. But this fits is on that first block of Fremont East Entertainment District. So I'm in support of this and ready to make a motion.
Okay, any other comments on this one? Then go ahead, Commissioner, please make your motion.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, on item 29, 25-0183, VAR1, move to approve, subject to staff's conditions, and you agree to all staff's conditions?
We do.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast. I guess we're going to do it verbally again. All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you for your support this evening.
And that is final action unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you. All right, let's go back to 23, which we trailed. Gabriella, this is 25-0160 VAR1, applicant Gabriela D. Luna Oliveras. Is the applicant here? Owner Yasil Oliveras Cuoto. Okay, since I'm not seeing the applicant here, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make a motion to continue it because I don't know. I don't feel comfortable just moving to deny it. So I'm gonna make a motion to give them a 30-day abeyance on this item. Is that okay, City Attorney? Okay, great, thanks. So that's the motion on the floor for 23.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have got item 30, which is 25-0186, VAR1, applicant owner Javier Patina Ochoa, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow existing residential accessory structures, shade structure, and shed that do not conform to Title 19.06 development standards for setbacks, distance, separation, and aesthetic compatibility at 6701 Buckskin Avenue, Ward 5, Summers, Armstrong. Staff recommends denial. May we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance related to the physical characteristics of the property have been presented to warrant the requested variance. As such, the hardship is self-imposed, and therefore staff recommends denial of the variance request. Please note additional documents for protest were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, good evening, gentlemen. If you could please state and spell your names for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Edgar Montalvo, Montalbo, representing the owner here with me tonight. Well, pretty much this is a structure that he's trying to do for his pool, and it's like a barbecue place. So this is what the mode that he's trying to do to this property. The upside that he has is then, of course, the level of his house is higher than the road. So when he did a 10 feet high the structure, it is protruding too much from the side of on the street. So we're working on it to try to be more appealing on the street side. But this pretty much is what he's going to do. He's trying to do something very cozy, and with some wood on it, pretty much is like a bar and a little barbecue place that he wants to enjoy. It's another, I call it like another fancy Mexican structure for the backyard. That's what he's going to be.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on item 30? Come on down. Folks, if you could step aside so folks can speak on this item. Mr. Ochoa? Everybody come up to a microphone, and we'll just go down the row. Ma'am, if you could please state your name for the record. And spell it.
Lori Kinchloe, that's Lawrie, last name Kincheloe.
And your address?
6650 Buckskin Avenue. We are just adjacent to the property, or I am just adjacent to the property. The property, the structure itself is built right on the property line. It doesn't have any variance as far as this building. It is going to be a permanent structure which does not follow code. Whether or not he pulled any variances or permits have obviously has not been approved, because all of a sudden myself and my husband were gone for 6 months. We come back and boom, there's a structure that's being built on this property. Also notice that his block wall is, if I'm not mistaken, above and beyond what is allowed, because he is on a curve. If you're going from Cheyenne going north up to Serene to Buckskin, that corner there, I don't know if you can see, I've got this picture here. Oh, no, this picture here. Where on that curve, you cannot see around that curve unless you physically go out into the street, which is Buckskin, to see whether or not traffic's coming from either side. Now, apparently, this property or block wall was built prior to him purchasing it, so he is a second owner of the property, so he did not build the block wall.
And this wall is 10 foot tall, at least?
Yes.
Ma'am, we're going to go
Sorry.
one at a time.
Yes, the
Thank you.
block wall is 10 foot high. So I know he has a pool on the other side. He does have another shed, a garage that's just east of his main residence, and the block wall itself is extremely high. And I sent something in writing, and I have not heard anything back from the city, which an acknowledgement would have been nice, to where I wouldn't have to have been sitting in here for the last 2.5 to 3 hours.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Matt Canepa. I live at 6700 Buckskin Avenue, which is located directly across the street from this project. I'm here because I'm strongly opposed to the variance requested related to the structure being built in my neighbor's backyard, and I'd like to share a few concerns. So first is the property value and visual impact. This structure is directly in front of our home and is a significant visual eyesore. It affects not only our view, but also the perceived value of our property. We're concerned that allowing this to remain sets a precedent for unpermitted and unsightly structures in the neighborhood. In my opinion, it's a mischaracterization of use. They're calling it a shade structure and a shed, but it is clearly a large bandstand structure, far beyond the scale or function of a typical residential shed or shade structure. Visibility and how close it is to our home. The structure is built right up against their wall, as Lori mentioned, which faces a public street, the same street that our home fronts. So although it's in their backyard, it sits directly across the street from the front of our house. This makes it highly visible to us and anyone entering the neighborhood, creating permanent eyesore and negatively impacts our curb appeal and property value. Neighborhood characteristics and zoning intent. This kind of structure doesn't align with the character of our neighborhood or the intent of residential zoning. It's a commercial scale build that doesn't belong in a residential backyard. So I am respectfully asking the commission to deny the variance and require full removal of the unpermitted structure.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
My name is Carlene Canepa, Karlenecanepa. I'm here, I also am a resident at 6700 Buckskin, but I'm also representing the neighbor at 6720 who is in Washington at the time. And they are opposed as well. Again, as he stated, the wall is 10 foot tall. The structure is at least 6 feet, just visually. I don't know, I can't reach that. I have no idea, but it's 6 feet higher than the wall. I understand in their backyard is built up higher, but anybody that has been to my house in the last 2 months since they started it and were stopped when the inspector came out has asked me, what are they building, a bandstand over there? Because it looks like something you would see at a concert venue, where would they have lighting and all of this type of stuff. That it does not look, it's so high, to say it's a shade structure, I've lived there for 35 years. It's too high, direction of it doesn't make sense. But be that as it may, we are opposed to it. The shed I'm not even familiar with that is being mentioned in that. Of course, we can't see back there. I didn't know what they're, evidently it was things that they started building prior to pulling permits. And then I don't know, do you need this from Ms. Giroux, the woman from 6720? She actually sent me a letter.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can just hand it to Madam Clerk there.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here wishing to make comment from the public? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment and call the applicant back up.
Just to address some of the comments that they have. As you see, yes, that as was pointed before, the block wall is high, but you can see clearly where is the line of the dirt on the other side. So that's the reason why they make it so high. So everybody's invited. We can meet with them, or they can join to the house and get into and see what is exactly what he's building in his backyard. It's nothing commercial. Of course, it looks commercial because he started building it out of metal studs. Of course, he doesn't have any waiver or anything like that, and that's the reason why we're here. We're requesting for that waiver. There's no permits, and he got a notice of violation, and this is the first step to getting a permit through the building department. So that's the reason why he's going to make it compliant. So we have a little video, and it's very preliminary with no finishes of what exactly he's doing right now. So it's, as I show it to you, it's just pretty much a shade, and inside he's going to put a bar and just a barbecue place. Yes, we know that they're too close to the property line, and we're trying to work with him and trying to see what we're going to do on the outside, so the visual impact will be not as bad as they thought. It's going to be actually a pretty neat structure, which is going to be outstanding for this type of properties. And it's not something that he's just going to spend like a penny on it. It's an structure that he already put some box into it, and he's going to put some planks, wood planks and stuff like that, so it will make it look even better. It's just the modern type of structure that he wants to build, as any structure you would like to have on your pool. So that's what it is. So that's why we're here. And as I said, if they have any questions, so they're more than welcome to come into his backyard, so you can see what he's looking at, what they're doing, and what is the difference. And in the inside, the block wall is 6 foot high, because that's the maximum, as you know, is allowed for the codes here. And on the outside, of course, is 10 foot because the difference on height on the dirt and inside and outside.
Anything else?
That's it. That's the end of my presentation. I don't know if you want to add something else.
No, I'm good. All right. Thank you, sir. I will turn it back to the commission, starting with Commissioner Munford.
All right. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go by there. I would like to get a chance to go by there and take a look at it. When I first was with the planning department and I seen the picture of what they had, I was pretty surprised myself on how it looked. If I understood, this construction was started before anything, there was no plans or anything submitted?
No, and that was the first mistake that he did.
Yeah, so are you looking to change this if required? I mean the height, yes. I mean, if I'm on the street and the wall's 10 feet, and then you have something higher than that I know you said that there's a 6 foot, it's 6 foot on your elevation on that side. But if people are looking at it, that street, it is quite overbearing for the people that are looking, looking at that structure. Is there any way that maybe you can redo this project and get with the neighbors to see what might work for everybody? Because obviously things were started before there was any communication with the neighbors. There wasn't any, no plans were submitted with the city. And, I'd like to see if we could, move this back to, to give you an opportunity to resubmit something else.
Sure, that's great. Of course, our goal is not to reduce the height because it's going to be too low for a barbecue place, but if it's needed, we will have to get done it like that. And it's not like he didn't have any design. He has like a preliminary design, but it was from an interior design. He didn't have any plans by itself. Now, of course, it's part of the process to obtain your approval, then going to the building department. But to meeting with the neighbors, we're more than welcome. We can even have the meeting even in the property so they can see what is there and what we can do. And of course, we're willing to negotiate that.
So I'd like to see if we could obey this to maybe can we do it as like maybe 3 months, or give them some time to redesign this, 30 days? I'd like to see about obeying this maybe for a couple months, give them an opportunity to come back, get some plans, and work with the neighbors, and then work with planning, and see if we can come back where we can all be happy at the end of the day.
You want to add something?
I just want to add something for the records. My name is Javier Patino, Javierpatino. I'm the owner of 67 Boxing Avenue. The reason I just want to say something, it's like everybody else wants looking for his dream house. I believe this is going to be my last. It's where I'm going to live, and I'm just thinking I can do a little bit of a structure to enjoy the pool. That's what it is. Nothing how can I say this? I'm not something I don't like to,
create a nuisance?
No, como que no quiero molestar a nadie.
Yep, you don't want to create any nuisance.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I make mistake. I don't pull a permit on stuff like that. In just kind of on my defense, I got a garage on the side, which is I convert to a living space, and I apply for all the permits and I get everything to the city. And it's not my type to do something illegally. This one is getting out of control because when I built it, I said, oh man, this is too big, it's too high, but it's already money into it. And when somebody called, that's why we are over here.
See, what he was explaining me that the garage structure that he has is architecturally compatible with what he has already. So he was trying to match the same height. The problem is that it was too close to the property line. So that's what it was.
Okay, thank you for that additional context.
Okay, would you be fine with coming back on August 12th after you met with the neighbors? Like I said, I think, like I said, when I looked at what I saw with the metal and stuff, that was really, I understand maybe possible, because when I looked at it, I was like, wow, that's quite a bit of metal, a lot of metal on that. But the main thing is I'd like to give you until August to come back, meet with the neighbors, try to work something out that will work with planning, that will work with the neighbors, and bring something back, that we can all agree that might work for everybody. Okay. Is that fine with you? Okay. I'd like, with that, if there's any other questions?
questions. One, that you build a monstrosity in the middle of a residential neighborhood, okay? And the first thing that comes to my mind, you're going to have music there. Is the music going to be from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m.? You know, or is it going to have like bands in there? You know, this is where I can see where the people that showed up didn't like us, and I wouldn't either. So I hope you take that comment that I'm giving you now as a little bit to get you forward back to that when you do meet with neighbors and planning section again, because I can't support this thing. I really can't. This is the middle of a residential area, so you need to address that issue. That structure needs to come down. It really does, in my opinion. This is only mine, but if it continues, I can't support it, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, and as I said, you all are welcome to come and to the house and see what is inside. It looks monstrous. It looks very great, huge from the outside. From the inside, it is not.
Okay. If there's no other comments, then Commissioner Munford, if you'd like to make your motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to obey this until August. It'd be August 12th. And you know, see if we can come with a meeting of the minds with everybody involved on this.
Sure. We'll work on it.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Ma'am, I'm sorry, public comment's closed.
Comment on that August 12th? Can we not be last on the agenda?
You won't be, because it'll be an debate item, so it'll be closer to the front. Cannot guarantee where it'll be, but it should not be last.
Thank you.
I support her comment.
Yeah,
All those in favor for the motion of the abeyance to August 12th?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that motion
Thank you very
carries.
much. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that concludes public hearing items. The last item is citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. No subject may be acted upon by the Planning Commission unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Anyone wishing to make public comment?
Madam Chair, Seth Floyd for the record. We have one of our newer planners. If you look down at the end here, I'm sure you saw Mackenzie. And Fred, if you want to introduce her.
Sure. This is Mackenzie Caldwell. She has been working for the city about a year, going on a year. She was working with our public planning section before at the front counter. So she's relatively new to the case planning, but we welcome her. This is her first planning commission, and she'll be back soon.
Thank you, Mr. Solis, and welcome. Yeah, and I guess I just was going to make, go ahead.
I have one clarification for the record. We were talking about item 26 earlier, 25-0165. I made a clarification to a condition number 7. That was for item 26B. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then I would just like to say, because legislative session is over, and so there's a pretty good chance Vice Chair Kasama will be back next month. So I just wanted to say thank you to Commissioner Schlottman for being my interim vice chair for all of this time and for being such a great mentoring guide and resource as I sit here in my first time serving as chair. So thanks, Commissioner Schlottman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You've done a great job, and I've enjoyed sitting here with you over the past 6 months and look forward to the next 6 months.
Okay, no other public comments, then this meeting is adjourned.